evening. It's game 6 of the not longest running episodic. It's the Stanley Cup Finals.
Mm-hmm. We're here.
Orlando was here first. Go Panthers. Florida man has spoken.
Go Panthers is right.
We got a few of the Florida men. I already told the guys. I was like, listen, Florida, don't say I haven't done anything for you. Edmonton is better than 2-1, so I bet on Edmonton. In the glorious hedge that is, I am happy to either take the money or laugh at the plight of Edmonton.
Cannot lose.
Cannot lose. Works for me. But I would say Florida doesn't need to win, obviously. But I do think with the way they played the last game, I do think if they come out hot here, I think they can kind of put this thing away.
Oh yeah,
it's a tough call because there's been flip flopping back and forth. It's been very unpredictable. The one thing about Florida is they're very steady. Even when they're down a couple, they're just playing steady hockey. Whereas it seems Edmonton gets in a razzle dazzle, and either they're scoring or they're just not.
Well, so. I think Lapper was actually pulled up a good stat, and I was taking a closer look at it. The thing is, the current 3-2 is actually very generous for Edmonton. Florida has led this series, has been ahead in over 200 of the minutes, compared to Edmonton only a fraction of that time. So most of the time, Edmonton is playing from behind. Even in the games they won, they were playing from behind.
But then again, if you take it that way, you sort of look at it going, Edmonton is such a wild card that anything can happen. So there you go.
It can, but it also means you're undisciplined and you're consistently putting yourself behind and having to dig yourself out of a hole. And eventually you run out of the ability to dig yourself out of a hole.
It's okay. I've been rooting for the Leafs for 60-something years. So there you go.
Oh, the Leafs don't dig themselves out of the hole. They just dig a bigger hole.
It's deeper, yeah.
Yeah, you just build a bigger hole. Mm-hmm. Edmonton's only thing is that they have enough firepower to try to do that, but it's still not advisable. For them, Edmonton really needs the first goal more than Florida does.
Yeah, because it's playing catch up is really hard on the team. Especially one can turn to two, and then catching up two and getting the third is kind of tough sometimes. So, especially if it happens so quick, it seems like we've had a lot of dead second periods, and first and last periods seem to be the most of the goals are coming.
Yeah. And over the course of this series, especially the last couple of games, Florida's physicality is finally starting to wear down a couple of the Edmonton guys. Mm-hmm. And you can tell it's starting to beat them down a little bit, which is what I was talking about in the Dallas series. I was like, no, hit them. They will get worn out if you hit them. They'll still get shots off. But right now, Edmonton can't even make up its mind who the goaltender is.
Oh, God.
Come on, Eric. Isn't Lemon available? What are we doing?
He might be.
He's 70 years old, and he's probably better than Skinner, so.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like the problem is they weren't even sure who they were going to start. Like it wasn't definitive. Yeah, and good evening, Jeff.
But this isn't a surprise, okay? I mean, we can go back and even moi said very clearly.
Moi, that's French.
Right.
Can you spell that?
Yeah. It's French, right? So it probably sounds
yeah. So anyway, while Eric is figuring this one out, I will say one of the advantages of this whole setup, and we used it on the podcast episode that dropped earlier today. I've got the new computer and everything set up, the new camera and all that, so just fine. The thing though that I've got a widescreen monitor now. I took the one that I had upstairs, and it's like this 34-inch ultra wide. So in reality, I'm looking at you guys on one screen. I've got you guys on one side of the screen, and literally the game on the other side of the very same screen. It's 34 inches across.
Wow, nice.
It's actually a pretty good setup. It's not bad. It actually allows me to be looking in this direction. I'm still watching the game and talking to you. So it's a good. It actually works because I flip them back and forth between the work laptop and this one, and I can kind of go. So in this setup, it actually works out real nice.
You're one camera away from being a breaker. Wow.
I know, right?
Anyways,
I live such fanciness.
To finish my point, even myself, even moi, said, before the final started, and even like in the last round, that Edmonton's goaltending is suspect, and they are not going to win a Stanley Cup until they get an all-star caliber goalie. I've said this. I said this last year in the playoffs. I said it this season. I said it this playoffs. I've said it this series. I've said it. Now, I think most hockey fans, this is not shocking or a surprise.
Yeah. I just saw the graphic on the screen. So the Panthers in this series have been leading for over 200 minutes to the Oilers 33 minutes. All the Oilers wins came while they barely spent any time late. So basically it was the overtimes. That's basically what has allowed them to hang in there. But in terms of leading the play, the Panthers have dominated. Edmonton is consistently having to dig themselves out of one hole after another. They're lucky that the series didn't end a couple of games ago.
Yeah,
I will say though, kind of to Eric's point though, it's like I understand that you've been making that point about the All-Star caliber. I completely disagree. I think they just need a serviceable NHL goaltender, and they would be fine. The problem is they're not even getting serviceable. So All-Star is actually way more than they need.
Okay, so again, this isn't news to anyone who actually watches hockey regularly or reads about it or follows it on the Instagrams or anything. This is not
Instagrams.
News.
Get me Phil Joe.
Well, McDavid's been in the league for how many years? Like 10?
I think his first year is 2015. 15, 16, I think was his rookie year.
Right. So 10. All right.
Mm-hmm.
How many times has he played with the goalie who's made the All-Star team?
But again, Eric, I'm going to repeat what I was saying. There's a lot of players who've won Stanley Cups with goaltenders that never made an All-Star team. You don't need to be.
Listen,
you don't need to make an All-Star team to win a Stanley Cup.
There's no. It helps.
Yes, it does help. Yeah, there are ones that where the goaltender can carry you. But I'm saying our point here is that their goaltending is really bad, and they got the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final last year when their goaltending was really bad. So the point is they just need decent. Decent would be enough.
But you have the best player in the planet, but you don't have anybody to stop the best offensive player on the planet, but you don't have anyone to stop the puck. And it's been like this for 10 years. You'd think Edmonton, the fan, there we go.
Oh, 1-0 Florida man.
Mm-mm.
See, we hit the, like those chess clocks,
Too
Bobby?
early.
You know those chess clocks, Bobby? Like where you click it. So now we hit the chess clock now, and Florida man gets to add to the amount of time they're ahead. So Edmonton needs to tie it up to stop the clock, basically, to pause it. Oh, Yannick brings out en français. Elez-vous.
Why isn't he? What the hell is he doing? Get on the show, idiot.
You have the link, Yannick. You're our trailer. Right now we're watching Florida Man. Eric is ready to fire up the Rat Who Would Be King. By the way, you saw that I sent the screenshot. I was actually Bobby on the podcast. I was having some fun with Eric because he was talking up Marchand so much, the Rat King and everything. And when he started talking about that, it reminded me that one of my favorite musicians is Matthew Good, who did a lot of albums, and I have pretty much most of his albums, if not all of them. But right around 2001. He released one of his best was The Audio of Being. That was around 2001 when they released that. That was his last one with the Matthew Good Band. One of the tracks on that album was The Rat Who Would Be King. I was like, there you go, Eric. Your theme song for Rat Man. You got the Rat King, the Rat Who Would Be King. Can be the Marchand theme song. Although I will say it's I probably wouldn't play it in the post Stanley Cup celebration because it's a 7-minute song. It's not up tempo. Okay. it's a great song, but it's more kind of a chill tempo to it.
Mm-hmm. Melancholy, sure.
I think he was going for more melancholy in that one. It is called The Rat Who Would Be King. It's not meant to be an uplifting, inspirational song.
And then Eric's going to bring out his movie anyways, The King.
Emmanuel in Space.
Yeah, well, that one too.
I was going to say Emmanuel in Space. Whenever Eric needs uplifting.
Yeah, The King, Rat, and I.
Yeah, when Eric goes into his workshop and starts working on lubricating his pool noodle, a little Emmanuel in Space is all he needs.
That's what you went back to work today to do.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I did not like going to work today. I have not been to work in a month.
Eric, it's Phil. Can you go pick up 3 boxes of pool noodle? We need some sticks shipped out.
Yep. Was it really a case of Eric? You walked in, you're like, "Who am I? What is this place? Mm-hmm. What happens here?
How did I get here?"
No, unfortunately, it was like riding a bike. And,
wow.
And I just went right back into
I thought you were going to say like riding a bike, you crashed into something.
Yeah,
crashed and
exactly.
burned. Yeah, got hurt. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's just, 5 hours, it was only 5 hours. It wasn't even a full day, but,
Yeah.
5 hours. And unfortunately, if I stand for too long without moving, walking is okay, but if I just stand, my back really does start to hurt. So by the time I got home at 6:30, my back was really sore.
Interesting.
It's just I can't stand for super long. It just my back hurts so bad.
Gotcha.
So 5 hours of standing, it hurt a little bit when I got home.
Well, pretty soon they'll have back surgery where they'll just replace your whole spinal cord. You might live in a jar. I'm just saying, but
In a mayonnaise jar. The dream lives.
Yes, I know. It's a great lubricant for many things.
For many things. What's funny is that's always been kind of the one running joke because my younger brother works at LCBO, and he manages, but it's one of those things where I said to him, and we'll see if he heeds that advice. I'm kind of doubting it, but I did tell him because I did work retail those years. I said I actually went out of my way because you're on your feet all the time. But I went out of my way to spend extra time outside of that exercising. And he was like, well, why would you do that? And the short answer was because the longer the shift is, I can't just have enough energy for the shift. I need enough energy in case there's a little more going on. I can't be out of gas by the end of the shift. I have to have more energy than that. So I got to go out of my way because of what you're doing. Well, you're lifting these things, moving them around, doing this, doing that, going back and forth, up and down, up and down. Well, guess what? And it's not going to get easier as you get older. I was still in my 20s when I was doing most of that. So it's fine. Yeah. But then, and I did a little bit in my 30s, but the problem is when you do, by the time you get to your late 30s, if you're somebody who becomes a lifer in retail and you're there in your 30s into your 40s approaching 50s, I wouldn't want to be doing that. I don't want to be stocking shelves. That you will develop a back problem if you didn't have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you move into a manager or supervisor, something like that. So you can push young kids around to do what you do.
you break your back.
That's right.
We have some younger people, and when there's heavy lifting to be done, then we go, hey, so and so, come on out here, go move that over there,
move that case of the cup over there.
Yeah.
What was funny is actually like speaking like for a card shop though, I'll be honest, like even though like I said I got away from that work early on, all things considered, still many years ago now. I'll be honest, not my back, but my neck doesn't like my posture when I'm sorting cards for an extended period of time because I'm still a little bit hunched over. It's actually really terrible posture. And my neck doesn't appreciate it. It's actually very uncomfortable. That's why part of the reason I really don't like sorting for extended periods is just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, people say that with the cell phones too, because they're hunched over.
Yeah,
and lurched over.
yeah.
So
with those ones, I tend to be a little bit better because I'll usually have my face back and I'll be like this. But if you're like this and you do it, so now take your hands, so you're putting your arms in front of you and you're doing some sorting or whatever. This is not a great position to be in for a long time.
I thought all these new kids were just shy.
Yeah. No, they're stuck like this.
Yeah.
Hey,
you do it long enough, and the neck starts bothering you. It's like that's not a good scene. It's not. It's not a lot of fun.
You're right.
Yeah. But that was basically the reason I suggest to him. It's like, well, you might want to look. If you're still in this business, well, then you better get used to the idea of stretching. Go take up yoga or something. Like you need to do something to help your back and your neck and everything else, or else it's gonna hurt. And it's not going to feel good. It's not getting easier.
But with me, my back hurts because of my exercise that I've chosen to do.
I don't know if you call that exercise, but yeah.
Well, crashing, it increases the heart rate really briefly. Like there's these big spikes of heart rate.
Yeah. Wrestlers crashed all the time. Crashed in the mat, So
what's funny was actually, like I said, I watch a lot of the recap shows, and yesterday was Monday Night Raw. And I don't watch the show, but I keep track of just what's going on, just so I know, just so I'm informed on what's going on with the WWE. Literally, the first match they had a couple of the ladies out there having a match, and the two of them that were there have actually been doing it for a while, so they have some experience. Normal move, falling over. She made a mistake though. She caught her arm the wrong way and jammed her elbow into the mat and actually popped out the shoulder and dislocated the shoulder. And it was like complete accident because in reality it wasn't particularly dangerous. There was not a particularly dangerous move. It was just kind of like catching her fall, but she literally caught it wrong and the elbow pulls it up and just dislocates the shoulder, pops it out completely. It's like, yep, all right. Well, depending on the severity, you'll be out a little while or maybe a couple months. Depends. But she was literally in a promo earlier on in the show where it looks like they were going to set her up to have a title match. So it's like really bad timing to injure yourself. Literally, there's a thing, and there's a show, a special women's show that they're going to have where they're going to be featuring some of them in some profile matches, and she looks like she was going to be in position to be in one of those feature matches. So like your timing couldn't have been worse because I think they're doing that show middle of July. So yeah, if she's out more than a couple of weeks, then she's going to miss that show.
Well, sometimes if they pop it right back in, it's not so bad. So.
Yeah, it depends on the severity. That's what they're going to be looking at. That was kind of the follow up, and but like really bad timing, and it was on a very basic move, like a very
career-ending thing. Wow.
Yeah.
You had your chance, but sorry, shoulders out.
Yeah. Well, I think she's okay. She's been their world champion a couple of times, and she literally is one of their tag team champions. So she's had it. She's actually done well. She's gotten some movie roles and things. So like she's got other kettles in the fire. But still bad timing because you're right in the middle of doing some stuff and you're getting some additional opportunities and bad time to get hurt.
Sure is. It does happen. Ask Eric.
It does.
I'll tell you, I don't think I've ever been hurt doing something really difficult or overly dumb or stupid or dangerous because you're so focused and so, just you're one with the bike, you're just totally in the zone. And I've done some really dumb, stupid things that I could have really maybe even died doing, especially when I was younger. Most of the worst crashes I've had, it's been on stuff that either I've done 100 times and I wasn't focused and was just like, wow, this is no big deal. I've done this 1,000 times. Or I was just riding along unfocused and all of a sudden you just hit a root or a rock the wrong way or some kind of hole. And next thing you know, you're on the ground going, how did I get here? And why does everything hurt? Rarely do people get hurt doing the real dumb stuff. But if you get hurt there, it's bad.
Probably.
I just figured just for the addition, I figure I would put that across the bottom.
Is this show sponsored by anybody this time?
The watch alongs, I don't make them sponsored. I could technically, but there's nothing specifically. Eric's sponsoring of the like button is our sponsor.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that's good enough.
This Stanley Cup watch along and making fun of Eric is brought to us by Eric's sponsorship of the like button, and also by Pool Noodles. What you do with pool noodles in the comfort of your own home, don't tell us about it. Pool noodles.
We'll figure it out.
Yep. They're easier to get this time of year, I'll tell you that. When we run out of them in the wintertime.
I bet they are,
I'm
Eric.
not going there.
You order in volume, I have no doubt.
I'm not even going there with that question. Anyways, go ahead.
Go to the pool stores in the wintertime. And
there's no pool stores in the wintertime.
No, there are, because
they're ice stores at that. They're skating rink stores.
No, indoor pools at hotels.
They're closed and they're doing snow plowing. Anyways, go ahead.
The YMCA stuff like that. They still need certain things. So, but they don't have any of that fun outdoor equipment stuff. And we're like, I need.
It's true, Eric. No, nobody likes a frozen pool noodle.
No.
Equipment stuff, technical terms.
Hey, listen, he's going full technical on us. This is some highbrow stuff. So 4-on-4 power play here. Well, yeah, power play technically. Is it 4-on-4 still considered a power play, right?
No. It's even strength.
No, it's equal. Yeah.
But it's 4-on-4.
What do they call that? I guess they call it a short.
I was going to say though, like it's even strength. It's even strength. You're right, but still, it's not 5-on-5. It's 4-on-4.
But it's not a power play. It would be a.
It's offsetting penalties in this case, I guess.
Yeah,
say that.
But I would think that Edmonton, with their offense the way it is way more dangerous on a 4-on-4 with that extra ice than Florida would be.
They are, but Florida is also, like I said, playing very smart. Like they genuinely, they understand the good game of keep away here.
Mhm.
They figured out different ways of moving the puck around. They're not trying to
No, they're
beat
defensive.
Edmonton. Yeah, they're not
Yes.
trying to beat Edmonton's offense. They're basically being like, Edmonton, you keep skating around, you're going to wear yourself out, but we're just going to play smart.
That's it. Play
I
smart.
think they've done a very good job of it, all things considered, to be honest.
Well, 4-on-4 just means 4-on-4. I don't even think there's a definition you can throw in there. It's just, it is what it is. If you know hockey, 4-on-4 means, okay, 4-on-4. It means
Yeah.
2 penalties. Sometimes they'll leave the 5-on-5 with the 4-on-4, but, just offset the penalties and, not, but I guess it depends. Why was there a penalty? Roughing or something?
I didn't see.
Oh.
I think I caught one of them, but I didn't catch the offsetting penalty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It probably was, honestly, it was probably response. It was probably a penalty and like a response. And probably they pulled both to keep it fair.
Sure. Yeah, you never want to get a penalty when, it's a crucial game like this. Like uncalled for. But it happens.
Yep. So 8:08 left in the first. 1-0 Florida Man.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
It's going to be an interesting game.
Billy Joe's asking the right question. We talked about pool noodles. Who's the lubricant sponsor? Who is the lubricant sponsor, Eric? You can't have your pool noodles without some lubricant. So what are you using?
KY? It was there. You got to use it. What are you going to say? Corn oil? I don't know.
Eric, this is not the podcast. We don't pretend to be 5% more mature. We make no such ludicrous marketing claims.
I know what it is. Sponsored by Fluff.
Wow.
Fluff is
I
good.
see.
If you can't use mayo, you can use Fluff.
Multi-purpose is what you're saying here.
Fluff is
what I'm hearing.
Not healthy for you, but it is good.
I did see a commercial where the girl had a strawberry and she dipped it in Fluff and then she toasted it like a marshmallow on the fire. And then she put chocolate and then graham crackers, and I guess it was sort of a
okay. So as soon as you add in that other stuff, because then like Fluff isn't that like a marshmallow thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, you'd be doing almost like a s'more kind of deal, basically. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
This stuff I never grew
Makes
up
sense.
with or heard of until.
Yeah, but that wasn't something I was familiar with prior to us having these discussions.
Oh, okay.
I've only used Fluff 2 ways: for a Fluff and Nutter sandwich.
Don't tell us the second way, please.
The second way, not demonetize. Abort.
Quick.
You can take a scoop of it and put it in your hot chocolate.
What you do with Fluff in your Emmanuel space watching is your own business, Eric. Abort.
Please.
Other people, I'm sure, do other things with it, but
yes, other people.
Derek. I have a friend.
Derek.
I have a question now. I have a friend.
Yes,
okay.
go on.
Please.
Yes. So I will say I mentioned it on the podcast. I've been finding the odd thing here and there. For the most part, there hasn't been a lot of interest lately.
There's nothing.
Yeah. One of the things though that I saw on there that I had on my watch list for a while, and finally it looked like the seller was finally agreeable to doing a deal, was that one of them had, and it was a Canadian seller, which is kind of the reason I was keeping an eye on it to see if eventually they would come down in price to where I wanted them to be. Back at 0304, Upper Deck had a set called Classic Portraits. And nice cards, and they kind of went with a little bit of a Roman theme and that kind of thing. Nice enough cards. They were fine.
I think I remember them. I didn't like them.
The big thing that I thought was interesting though, and I had never got my hands on one, is they had these busts. So they had them inside these boxes. You could actually get these busts. And Modano has one with the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Those busts were weird looking.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that one's different. Okay, yeah. I know the Gordie Howe one. Was that almost the same thing? Was it the Gordie Howe
There's
one?
a couple of different ones, yeah. So there's the back of it.
Okay.
So it's kind of a cool, it's actually, basically it's, it can sit on the desk. It's kind of a decent size. The problem with these things really comes down to, if you're not seeing it at the show, shipping is a pain, because obviously it's not a small item. You're putting inside this box and they've got it. But the seller had it with the box and everything.
It's going to be about $20 for shipping at that minimum point. So it depends on how much is that item.
So I ended up getting it, I think, for all told, with taxes of being Canada, of course, I think for about $60.
Okay. Plus shipping.
So that's with about $20 worth of shipping.
Yeah. Yeah, 60 becomes 80. So if you can find
No,
it
no,
at a show,
that's with the shipping. The 60 is with the shipping.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Bad.
So I was looking for a price that with the
Yeah.
shipping and with the taxes, it wasn't so bad. That's what I was trying to get.
Yeah.
So if I add in the taxes and the shipping, and then I wound up about there, I was okay with it. Wasn't too bad.
That's why if you save yourself for the show and find something like that out there, it's certainly a lot better. If you save the shipping on 10 items you buy, that's $20. That's $200 you could spend on a nice card or something else. So anything like that. And unfortunately, you have to deal with it. The best part was this from the States or Canada? Canada?
Oh, it's Canada. Yeah.
So you could have
if it was from the state, if it was from the States, the shipping would have gone up a lot.
Yes,
because that's a big item. Yeah.
It's not that big. It's what, like 8-10 inches?
I think something like that. Yeah.
By about 6. I've seen them before.
Yeah.
They're just kind of weird when they have no body. It's sort of like those side tables those guys made where they had skate legs, and the skates and the socks and it's a table, and I went, that's just weird looking. Guys used to set up with those, and I'm sitting there going, how many are you selling? Like, really? Because that's kind of creepy. Anyways.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I've actually got it in front of me. I forgot the HST was a little higher than I thought. His shipping was 25, and it ended up being 75 with the GST and the 25 shipping.
It's okay.
Yeah, so 42 was the actual price that I got him to take. He had been much higher prior to that, so I was kind of being like, get it. Basically, I was incorporating one thing that I've talked about on the podcast a lot is that a lot of times people will look at, they took this price. It's like, okay, but how much was the shipping? How much was the taxes? The actual cost of acquisition, all that, you're still paying that. So that you might have gotten it for $50, but if shipping was $50 and then you had to pay these other charges, then it's actually $100. That's what you really paid.
$50 is what you tell your wife.
Yeah.
The reality is the other part.
Yeah. For me,
you tell your buddies, $50, man. Oh,
yeah. Whenever I'm looking at it, I take into account those other charges because that's the cost of actually getting it into my possession. Sure. That's what it actually cost me to get it here. Mm-hmm. So I have to count that.
Yeah, you can't get away from that. Actually, prepaid box, you're looking at 16 plus tax, $20 for shipping. Yeah, 21,
which is about right. I don't think he was too far out of whack. He was pretty close.
Yeah.
Good evening, Dom. Good evening, fellows. Hoping for a game 7. Hey, go for it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Make it for entertainment value. Well, if they do go game 7, I think game 7 would be the hypothetical game 7, Eric. Wouldn't that be on Friday?
I haven't looked.
Yeah, because I think they gave an extra gap. If you actually go to 7, I think they push it to Friday.
Yeah, they're really pushing the distance
between the games. And the NBA, they have to, I think.
Oh, yeah, June 20th. Right. Yeah. June 20th.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would be Friday. Yeah. Because last week was Friday the 13th.
So it was.
7 days from that, that's where you. Yeah, that, to be honest, June 20th is just we've already gone too far. Like already mid-June, It feels like a lot. Like, let's get it over with, people. Let's go.
Yeah, by the end of May, that's it.
Yeah,
it should be. But anyways, who are we to?
Yeah, Friday, exactly. Right. Thank you. So yeah, well, Dom, I can live with that either way. For me, I'm like, I'll be honest, I think Florida Man has actually played really well. So the truth is that Edmonton has so much talent, but at the same time, they haven't impressed me in this series. Like they really, they've shown little stretches, but they're basically playing from behind. Florida has controlled a lot of the action and the pace of play.
Going back to the beginning, Florida plays like a team. Edmonton like individuals. Great talent, but just not the team spirit. They don't have that. They're not clicking as a team. Sorry. Great talent. Actually, they exceed the talent pool of Florida, which is surprising, but Florida is the better team because they play like a team. And that's the big difference. Same thing with the Leafs. It's very much the same. We have a lot of individualistic players who don't play well together or don't seem to play like a team, and everything's sporadic. And they're the way they play, anyways, is a different way of playing. Anyhow, it's an opportunistic way of playing. The Leafs do, and very much like Edmonton too. But you have those guys who can, come to bat when you put them in a weird play like McDavid, Drysdale or whatever. Those guys tip the puck out of the air somewhere or anywhere. So you do have that talent pool, but like I said, you need the team to win. And like Carlos was saying, you don't need a good goaltender. You just need somebody who can stop the puck a few times. So
yeah, well, the biggest problem that Edmonton had in this one is it wasn't going back to what we were talking about earlier. Eric was talking about an all-star goaltender, and they literally gave up that goal within the first 2 shots. You
Yeah.
don't need an all-star goaltender to stop 2 shots. You just need a serviceable NHL goaltender to stop 2 shots.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem is that Florida has been good at capitalizing on the opportunities they get. 2 shots and they got a goal. They're up 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton had been firing off a bunch of shots, getting good shots on Bobrovsky, and it didn't amount to anything. They were good shots. Like they were actually getting some, pressure, but Florida within 2 shots had a goal.
Yep.
And now, so Edmonton's out shooting them right now 10-6. So Florida's kind of closed the gap a little bit, but Edmonton's still out shooting them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one team is actually making sure. So if Bobrovsky gets it, he's not giving up a big rebound. He's controlling it. He's just doing the correct things, and they're playing a smart game right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a little creep, right? 1 goal, keep defensive. You'll get another goal eventually. Make the right pass, or get a nice play in their end and face off, shot, tip in. That kind of stuff happens all the time. So, and that's steady. You're not worried about it. You're not frantic. You've got your play set up. You've done your practice. You know who's going to be where or should be where, and that's the team efforts, right? So,
Yep. Well, there's also somebody who said that a lot of these players on this Florida team have now been there for 3 Stanley Cup Finals runs.
there you go.
So there's nothing that you can do that will buy that kind of experience.
They're used to it.
Yeah, they know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
They lost a Stanley Cup final, they won a Stanley Cup final, and here they are in a 3rd Stanley Cup final appearance. So now at this point, you know the drill, and a lot of the players know the drill.
Yep. And they have a great goalie too, so that helps.
Yep.
There is a difference in goalies, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens tonight. So we have a low-scoring first period. Not much time left, right?
2:45.
Okay, yeah. So, well, we'll see. So it's been usually a high-scoring first period and a low-scoring second period and a basically high-scoring third period to put or a driving force towards a overtime. So now we have low scoring. We might go high scoring second period like we did a few games back. What was it? Can't remember which game it was. Where they got so many goals in the second period. Remember, it was like bang, 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 bang. Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 goals. They're up, they're down, they're down, they're up. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see because I feel like if Florida is being smart about this, they should at least play it like a game 7 in the sense that they don't get too eager and just and play it consistent. And especially if they're up, they should be trying to play smart.
Yes.
That's what I would be doing. I'd be trying to play but you still want the intensity. You still got to hit. Do what you've been doing. All the things that are working, keep doing that. Because they've already expanded the time that they've been officially in the lead. That 200 minutes, we've added now additional time to that.
Yeah, and they're playing under less stress. If it is that final, it's Edmonton is playing under stress or duress because they need to win. They have to win. Whereas Florida doesn't. They would like to, but they're not so hard pressed. And you make a lot of mistakes when you're pressed, and that's going to happen with Edmonton. Whereas Florida, they're sitting there going, hey, listen, I'm just going to make sure I make the good pass. I'm not doing any desperate stuff. We don't need to win that bad. We're just going to keep it steady and going. And that's just a smart play for them.
Yeah. Well, right now, I think Paul Maurice is a good coach. So he knows how to tell them. For them, I would be like, play with urgency, but not desperation. Urgency is good because it means you're still going. You're still attacking. You're still doing everything you need to do. Desperation is where you make dumb mistakes.
Yes. Yeah. And they don't need to worry about it at this point.
Question for Mike Good. So Jeff's a little bit ahead here. I'm just watching just to see. So this one's for you, Eric.
How's the eye coming out? Oh, coming along.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing better. Right this very second, I feel fine. If I stare at the phone or the computer screen or the TV. Oh, yes.
2-0 Florida man.
There you go.
If I stare at blue light for too long, my eyes will stop burning a little bit. And I got to step away and kind of stop looking at it for a bit. But I finally think after a month, I'm on the mend. So thank you very much for asking and checking in. Appreciate it.
That hurt Edmonton a lot because now they're going into a second period with a 2-goal deficit, and that's going to hurt them a lot because it's real hard catch up. 1 goal was not so bad. 2 gets tougher. 3 is going to be like, it's going to be a hard run.
I think critical piece though, also, and this goes back, and actually Skinner got a piece of that one. It actually went over his glove. He got a little piece of it. I think very important thing though, and this is key. I would say this. It's also bad that they gave up the goal inside of 1 minute left in the period. So you're right at the end of the period. You're about to get to the intermission, and you kind of lax just for a moment, and Florida took advantage of it.
That's actually the crucial time. That's when things can happen. Don't get sloppy. Go into the next period knowing you're down a goal, and then hit it again.
There you go. Dom's got it here. Eric's high as a crip. Confirmed. No red light for him. Wow. Picking gang affiliations, huh, Eric? I see what's going on. Interesting. Very interesting.
He's wearing neutral colors today, though.
Okay, so we got about 30 seconds left, and shots are now even. So Florida Man has got it even.
Yeah.
Jeff says, watching on CBC, I'm surprised I'm almost a minute ahead of you guys. I'm watching on streaming, so usually streaming's a little delayed.
Yep.
That doesn't surprise me too much. One would hope, look, my tax dollars demand that you should at least be a minute ahead. I think this is important.
You would think.
Ham says, congratulations, Panther, another fantastic season. Look at Florida Man already pumping up the tires of the Florida Mans.
Don't speak too soon, Mike.
I sees what's going on. I sees what's happening. I think that's the end of the period. And they are in Florida. So 2-0 Florida Man.
Yeah, and home advantage too. That doesn't help. So doesn't help Edmonton, I'm saying. We'll see what happens. See if McDavid goes in the dressing room and screams at them or something.
First intermission.
Yes, back it up. Come on, guys. We need this. Play like a team.
Well, they did. What's funny is that with last year's Stanley Cup Finals, they had that Amazon Prime, like they did the whole behind the scenes thing, very similar to kind of the NFL does a lot of those where they go behind the scenes with the team and they follow. And they did that with Amazon Prime. They had a mini series where they followed a couple of different players. And one of them was Connor McDavid. And so they followed it all the way to the Cup Final and were able to get behind the scenes footage of the Cup Final and everything.
Oh, that's how they got that.
I'd be curious to see if they did it again this year, because that would be very interesting getting there a second time and kind of following it. But the funny thing is McDavid did show some passion and stuff, but at the same time, I feel like he almost has to try to find it because he's such a reserved kind of calm guy. It's not really in his personality type based on that to really fly off the handle. There are guys on that team that can do that, but I wouldn't look to him first to be that guy.
No.
But for him, a lot of his leadership with that team is based on play because he played extremely well last year's Stanley Cup Final and the whole playoff running into it. So like he performed. So the point is he still did his job. So if you can do your job, I don't need you to be the yelling guy. As long as you're able to do your job and actually lead by example and actually perform, and everybody can see you performing and doing the work, then I think you're okay. But you got to have somebody in there that can do that. There's somebody whose role should be to be the yelling guy.
Which is generally the coach, right?
Yeah, exactly. The coach can take that role. If McDavid's role, as long as McDavid's scoring goals and setting up players for assists and making plays happen, he's still doing his job.
You know what? If I'm gonna say it, I don't care if you clip me. Anyways, I'm just saying. If you have a guy like McDavid, we're playing hockey, and he comes in. Now, I'm a sort of a B- player. I'm playing my best as a B- player, and I got a guy coming in saying, pick it up, do your best. Like, I'm doing my best. I'm at my top of my game. Unfortunately, I'm just a B- player. So you yelling at me doesn't help me. It's not motivational at all whatsoever.
True.
And you should know that, and being a captain, you have to have that respect. It's sort of like, Matthews being a captain. Wrong guy. Sorry, Nope. Shouldn't be him. We almost said that about who was that? Sidney Crosby being such a young captain, but he held his own. He had that respect, and you need that guy who's going to, you're going to follow and respect, but you don't need a captain coming in yelling at you at all. Actually, a good captain would never do that. So it was really a bad scene for him to have that shown, but it was good for us entertainment wise. Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see here. Dom says, I know a thing or two about a star player who's not a rah-rah vocal leader. R.I.P. Devers. Yes, Rafael Devers was traded for a bucket of baseballs.
Good. Get the hell out of town. You want to be a jerk and a cancer in the clubhouse? Off you go.
I look forward to his MVP season.
Yeah, whatever. See you later. Cancer. Bye-bye.
Eric, you need a few more cancers. Just a couple more. My good says, Carlos, I know this is hockey.
Yeah. Actually, all three of us. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, yeah. July, cancer. 100%. My good says, Carlos, I know this is hockey, but did you ever try to collect the 71 OPG baseball set? No. I like the cards, but no, the set is very particular.
Tough.
I honestly like the cards. We've talked about this before. I like the back of the cards. Honestly, I think the back of the cards for 71 OPG baseball is superior to the Topps version. I think it's a really nice set, and if somebody wants to collect, I think it'd be a cool set to put together. But those are tough. Like you're talking early 70s OPG, those would be
black border,
and then you've got the condition sensitivity. You've got a lot of things that would be tricky for you. But yeah, there's no appeal for me for trying to put together a set like that because that would be an undertaking.
Well, who's the rookie? We got Thurman Munson and
Munson is in 70. So he would be in 71.
The year before?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only rookie in 71, I think, of note, there's probably a couple, but I want to say Bert Blyleven is a 71 rookie, but I don't think he's in the OPG. Let me double check. Because I know the OPG checklist is a little bit different.
That is
yes, it always is.
Gamer Bert Blyleven to you.
Blyleven. Listen, take the pool noodle out of your mouth for a minute and enunciate the words.
Bert
Bacharach.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. So yeah, no, interesting, but then never went into it. Same question for Bobby, although I don't know if Bobby ever did baseball. No, yeah, that never collected it. I think it's a neat set, but never been interested in putting that one together. Let me just see though. I'm curious now. 71 OPG. Let me see. Now I'm curious what's in the checklist for this one. Oh, they did a full parallel. Okay, so it is a 752 card set. Okay, so they did actually have the whole thing. So let me see now. Now I'm curious. Let me see. So rookie in 71. If that is the case, let's see. Rookies. Who's the rookie? The key rookie cards in this are the multiplayer rookie card of Dusty Baker and Don Baylor, and the individual cards of Bert Blyleven, Dave Concepcion, Steve Garvey, and Ted Simmons. So there are a couple of good ones in there. So yeah, so all of those ones would be tough. So that's even worse, actually. Oh no, sorry, that's 71 Topps. My bad. I'm reading this wrong. Damn it, Baseball Cardpedia. I need better work from you. Great disappointment. Let me see. Oh, peachy. Let me try that again. Full parallel to 7. Yeah. Okay, so it was 752. Okay, so then, yeah, the rookies are good. That is correct. Great. Wanted to make sure I was reading that right. Let's see here. Ham says the Titanic had a good captain too. I don't know. What was his war, Ham? What was his war? Philly Joe says 71 Munson is an iconic card. Yes, I agree. Very much so. Yeah, 70 Topps though was his rookie, but 71 Munson I think is a superior card. Great photo on that one. Sue says Garvey, Dusty Baker, Don Baylor. Yeah, absolutely. But let's not. In Eric, this is me. Bert Blyleven, as you well know, is amongst the Dutch.
Bastard.
And even still, I will still acknowledge that he is one of the rookies in the set.
All right.
Yeah. Get even Suk, absolutely. But yes. So yeah. I think it's a cool set. And if somebody wants to do it, it would be quite the challenge. But if you're taking all those elements that make OPG a little bit tougher, and then tack on the fact that it is a full parallel to the 752 top set. Yikes. That's tough, man. Be a nice looking set, but that'd be a tough one. Okay, let's see here. So I'll pose the question while we're doing this, because right now we're just watching the panel kind of doing their thing. How are things going for you folks in the chat? Obviously, I was mentioning to the guys that I've been out looking. I got to be honest, Eric, I might do a video talking about this. I found myself in an interesting spot where I'm still finding stuff, but I'm finding myself left being kind of picky, because even the stuff that I'm seeing is like, yeah, that's priced wrong. Kind of like, I like it, but not that much. Not enough to be like going for it.
I have said no to, many things over the years, obviously, as you have. But when it comes to, player collecting, we're a little more driven, and we're a little bit more willing to pull the trigger on something because we have to have it. It's like it's like the Pokemans, you got to collect them all. And it is harder, I find, to put the brakes on when I'm collecting something that's Reggie Lemlin oriented versus something else. Something else I can go, nah, I can get that in the future. I can wait. I can get a better price. When you're a player collector, something pops up that you haven't seen before or you've been waiting on. You're like a shark to blood. You just go frenzy mode, and it there has been times I've been able to control myself and go, no, that's ludicrous. I'm not doing it. But I would say, as when you're a player collector and you have that mindset of I got to collect them all, it is much more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Ben right here says, I was doing all right, but I got over it. I like it. Did hear Sword, Texas, and Minnesota collections I recently bought. Nice. Good times. Mike here says, Carlos and Eric, do you buy the new hockey rookies, or do you give them a couple of years to see how their career is going? Eric is currently on the early 70s and the 69-70 rookies.
Yeah, waiting to see how they turn out.
Yeah, the vintage. No, I'm not a big rookie collector. I've got my player collections, and that's where my focus is. But yeah, I kind of vicariously live through. I watch. I pay attention to it. I obviously do the stuff with AMG and some of the other stuff. So I always keep myself abreast of what's going on with those. But yeah, I don't really chase after the newer players too much, unless it's like a situation where the players on my team, like with the whole thing with Rantanen, him joining the Stars, it did motivate me to go looking for some of his rookie year stuff. But his stuff is like from 2015 or 2016. I think right around the same time as McDavid. So that isn't brand new. But for all the new guys, I'm not paying too close attention. But I'm not a rookie card collector. So I think that's one of the key pieces. Player collector, yes. Rookie card collector, not so much.
I am a rookie card collector. I love collecting rookie cards. But like, for example, this one's sitting on my desk. I'd rather have this than something new. Here's a Pat Stapleton rookie, Boston Bruins 1961. Like, I want every Bruins rookie card from 1990 and back. I just picked up, just to show what I'm talking about.
By the way, Eric, you should be ashamed, because when you pulled up that card, you should have led with, as seen previously on Silly Card of the Week.
On
Winner of Silly Card of the Week. Yes.
Yeah, I should have. You're right.
Yeah, lead with that. That's candidacy, man.
Yeah, you're right. I screwed up. I just picked up this rookie card. Why? Because he played for the Bruins. Willie Plett.
Willie Plett, he's in Atlanta.
Yeah. Cost me only a couple of dollars. It's an O-Pee-Chee. It's an unbelievable.
Are you sure it's O-Pee-Chee this time?
It is O-Pee-Chee this time.
Okay. Everything is O-Pee-Chee.
Everything's O-Pee-Chee. 1977.
Even his tops was O-Pee-Chee.
Yep, even his top.
Especially his tops. Especially his tops.
So, he played for the Bruins. I got his rookie card. So, Bruins rookie cards, I want every single one of them, which,
but that's
wallet,
vintage compared
my
to
wallet won't allow, because I can't get a Jacques Plante rookie card probably.
Not with that attitude, Eric.
Harry Sawchuk rookie cards. But my goal is to get as many Bruins rookie cards as I can that played from 1990 and back. after that, I don't get too excited. Yeah, I mean, if they fall on my lap, great. You know,
Is that what you call stealing from work?
Well,
the old 5-finger discount.
it's
They happen to fall in my lap.
they tend to
Eric walks in. Eric walks in with a gigantic, oversized jacket, and it's got all the space in it. But when he walks out, he's like the Michelin Man
coming out. Can't get through the door. Got to go sideways. Yeah, I know.
They tend to fall out the back door of the building sometimes, out back.
Oh, is that why you have that little window and you're pushing stuff out?
I don't know. And they end up out back somewhere. I don't know. It's crazy.
This sounds like the MO for the Dallas card show robberies. It's very weird. Like,
hey,
I'm seeing some similarities. I'm wondering about that.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Stuke says 91 to 93 Minnesota North Star signed stick was in the Minnesota collection. Nice. So you probably have a Medano auto in there for that one, especially 91 to 93. And a Ken Dryden Topps rookie in the Texas collection. That's solid. That's pretty good.
Ken Dryden.
Yep.
Who was Ken Dryden drafted by? Boston Bruins.
Boston Bruins, of course. Because every answer, if it's not Montreal, it's got to be Boston.
I always joke around saying Ken Dryden, Boston Bruin legend.
Could have been.
Yeah. Well, you made the
beating you guys.
The problem, Eric, is that you made that same joke a bunch of times. You go, Bobby Orr, Boston Bruin legend. We all know he's a Chicago Blackhawk.
Yeah.
He's being wild out there. It's crazy.
I just picked up something. I picked up a 53 Parkhurst wrapper box.
That's cool.
But it's Ripley's, believe it or not.
That's me.
Over here.
Wrong person. Yep. So that's how their boxes were made, or wrappers, sort of, so to speak. The one thing is there is a hockey card in the set, number 93. It's actually One-Eyed Frank McGee. I think it says he scored 14 goals in playoff game or something like that, sort of a record, and still holds today. So it is, how do we say it, adjacent to the hockey collecting community, as I know Eric likes that word very much. So
adjacency is a big thing for him. Yeah.
Yes, it is. So that adjacency is quite prevalent in the sports card community, because if you can match that card with the wrapper, there you go. So it's just a little box. Like, honestly, this is exactly the same size, same die cut as the Parkhurst had. So basically just a little box, and they just used to fold it, and it just fold up into a nice little pack, and then you buy your pack. Not sealed in any manner whatsoever. So it was just sleeved right in. Bang, boom, bada bing. It's nice anyways. Ripley's 100-card set, actually. So
if I remember correctly, in downtown Niagara Falls, Canada, there's still a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum there, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it's been there ever since I was a kid. So that's one of the big things. Yeah, it's right on the corner. It's right on the main drag there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been in the same location. Yes. But Ripley's is pretty popular. There's lots of different series that they made over the course of the last, 60, 70 years for Ripley's.
Yeah, I remember watching the TV show all the time.
And the TV show, too, on top of that, yeah.
Yeah, the TV show in the 80s was great.
Who used to host that? Good question.
Ripley's Believe It or Not?
Yeah.
Was one of them Dean Cain?
Ooh.
No, I'm thinking of the one from the 1980s.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Because I feel like there were multiple series, though. Okay.
Well, there was one main one I think that we should all remember. It was the boy, that's a tough call. Can't remember. You can pull that up, Carlos, anyway. So
I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, because I think there were a couple of iterations. That's why I'm saying that. I think they had a couple. Let me see if I can find it.
More iterations.
There were, yeah. So there was a first series that was done from
That's the
an NBC between 49 to 50.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that was hosted by Robert L. Ripley until his death. So actually, Ripley related.
Well, so that's why we have a lot of different 1950s-ish Ripley stuff.
And then on ABC, so this is the one you guys are talking about for the 80s.
Yes.
That was 82 to 86. That was hosted by Jack Palance.
Oh,
Yes.
Jack Palance. That's who it was. Yes.
I knew. I'm hearing the voice of it. Believe
Cool
it.
voice. Cool voice.
And I'm sitting here thinking, whose voice was it? And I'm trying to place it. And Jack Palance.
Now, for the record, though, like I said, mentioned on TBS, they had a series that ran for 3 years, and Dean Cain was host of that one.
Man.
Yep. So there were 3 distinct iterations of the show, different eras, different hosts, but they did it in the 50s, 40 to 50s, the 80s, and then again in the early 2000s.
Oh, early 2000s. Yeah, I wouldn't.
And since it was on TBS, probably part of the reason I would have seen it is that around then TBS, WCW was still around. So they were airing the WCW Thunder Show on TBS. So it wouldn't shock me if they were promoting the hell out of Ripley's Believe It or Not, because it would have been around that same period.
Right.
Makes sense.
So they probably had some cross promotional and did some promotions and different commercials for them.
Yeah.
Dan's here. Good evening. Bobby showing the vintage. Happy to tune in the right mode. There you go.
Sure.
Robert Stack. Yep. No, we talked about Jack Palance.
Robert Stack was Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes, there you go.
He did that battery commercial. Knock this battery off my shoulder.
Yeah, it wasn't a Disney show, not that one. Stack Palance, same difference. Yeah, Stack was great in the movie Airplane. He played Street and Dry.
He did actually. It was really good. He was very good.
Wasn't that Airplane 2? Or is that the original? No,
I think it was the original too. Yeah, he was on both.
Shatner was in Airplane 2. All right, never mind.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But Palance was he had a cool, slow, methodical voice. It was just
creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy. Yeah. So sort of like
story, and then he'd start talking. Oh man.
Yeah.
So apparently there was one more version that I wasn't aware of. Well, actually, there were 2. One was a Filipino version. I'm not going to count that one. But there was another one. But there was another one that actually was done in 2019. I honestly didn't remember this at all. That one didn't ring a bell. They did one, and it only lasted the one season in 2019. It was on the Travel Channel, and it was hosted by Bruce Campbell.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
I love Bruce Campbell.
No wonder it didn't last long. Anyways.
Oh, Bruce Campbell's awesome.
Yeah, but I would think, though, being that it was Bruce Campbell, that's probably makes it a bit of a cult classic. Like, even for that brief run, I'm sure that there's some folks that were totally into it. Anyway, we're in the second period now. I'll update the little banner here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get that updated here. It is still 2-0 Florida Man, so that's still accurate. But I will update this here.
Actually, these cards that came out in this year, you get 5 cards and a piece of gum in that pack there. Very colorful, like very beautiful cards considering the time period.
Okay.
Let alone, if you look at the hockey cards, not so beautiful as 51 are, or 52. But the Ripley's was very, very nice. Very, very nice. The funny part is, a little factoid is, they did a Ripley's Believe It or Not, but they also did one for Quaker Oats in the same year. Now that would be through the cereal. And for the longest time, I'd say at least over 2 decades, nobody knew the difference unless you read the bottom. One says Quaker Oats, but they're almost the same. There's a lot. It's only a 50 card set where this is a 100 card set, but they used a lot of the same, themes, I guess, or say the same exact same, but it would say Quaker Oats or it would say, so the Quaker Oats are really hard to find. And I always wondered if there was, because they were so hard to find, I didn't know if there was a one-eyed Frank McGee for the Quaker Oats, which would have been kind of cool, but there isn't.
Right.
Any which way.
So a good scoring chance for Edmonton, denied by Bobrovsky.
Right.
It was a good pass, actually. It was a good sequence there. They actually had a legitimate shot on that one.
Yeah.
But it was a good. Bobrovsky played it correctly. He did what he needed to do.
Yeah, that was.
I think
because McDavid actually got a little bit of space and had it to Draisaitl, and Draisaitl went a little wide.
I don't think that was Draisaitl.
I'm just looking here. Was it Perry?
I think it might have been.
Okay. Regardless, it was a good opportunity, but just a little wide. Couldn't quite get the handle on the pass.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Edmonton come out pretty hard and heavy.
Well, they got to press. Like right now, they're two. They need to make up the gap. It would be ideal for them to score early.
They should
Just
pull the goalie.
one goal early would help them a lot.
Pull the goalie. With 16 minutes left in the second.
Why not? Why not?
Pull it.
Yeah. Mike here says, being a baseball and football guy, I've been enjoying the Stanley Cup. Yeah, look, if you can be neutral on it, it can be fun. And you know, and playoff hockey is good, especially when the teams are legitimate. These are the two best teams here. These are the two best teams here.
Yeah.
They did their respective gauntlets. They earned the right to be here. They are the best teams. Florida, though, is demonstrating very impressive skill. They're doing what they need to do. Yeah, it was Perry. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's good. And especially if you're talking about high level and you're watching teams with this level of talent, you're seeing some quality hockey. There's just happen to be the best teams right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a boxing match and a hockey game broke out. Yep. Can be. And as always, live hockey is the best version
mostly. So
yeah. If you have a choice, live hockey is obviously the best because if you can see it live, then you get the full impact. But even still, like when you're watching teams this good, you're still getting a pretty good effect watching it regardless.
Yeah. You can turn on the Fox Puck follow kind of lit up puck thing if you want on the American TV, I think.
Eric is working on ChatGPT, so he can still have Fox tracks even today.
Yes. Well, you can watch the game where somebody has a digital video game type of play action that's only a few seconds behind. It's not bad. So it's like, you know, video guys going end to end, and it's showing every move. And anyways, however they do it, it's really interesting. So if you're going to watch something, it's better than just to hear it, right?
Yeah. Florida man had a couple of dangerous chances there. Managed to just hold him off a little bit. Dan says, I prefer hockey when the Rangers don't suck. As a New York guy, I understand what you're saying. I get it. I get it.
They were saddled with a lot of bad teams.
Yeah, they always found themselves kind of on the outside looking in. It was pretty much, that's why I say the original six was always, I understand it's the original six, but let's be honest. Chicago, Boston, and New York, for the majority of that time, like what are we even talking about? We're talking about Toronto, Montreal, and Detroit for a good chunk of that time.
I'd say through the 40s, 50s, and 60s, it's hard to name a good Chicago Blackhawk other than Bobby, or let's say New York Rangers.
61 when they won the cup.
Yeah, but the point is though, like out of that entire run, they were able to have one cup winning team.
Okay. So Detroit had Gordie Howe.
Yep.
Toronto was good, and Montreal cheated. So what do you want?
I guess
learn how to cheat.
Yeah. Can't beat them, join them, whatever.
You're Bostonians. You should be good at cheating.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No, we're good at getting a bunch of Irish guys drunk and kicking people's ass in a fight.
Which, if you had actually fielded that team, you would have won a Stanley Cup.
Probably.
Possibly.
You didn't use your resources correctly, Eric, is what I'm hearing.
Philadelphia did it in 73 and 74.
Exactly. Philadelphia was able to leverage the goons.
Mm-hmm.
1974, they beat Boston in the Stanley Cup final. I know.
Yeah.
I came into this world a loser.
I'm not told you that.
I'm not. No.
Sight unseen. I could have told you that one. Back to lubricating the pool noodle.
I had to wait.
May as well.
2011 to win a Stanley Cup.
And on this show, we barely even acknowledged that happened. We're not 100% sure. Can we be really sure?
I didn't know if I was ever going to see a Stanley Cup in my lifetime. I was, Ray Bourque was going to be the closest thing I ever came to.
Yeah. Mike says, now I'm curious, how did Montreal cheat? Oh, Eric, go ahead. Tell you what, while you're trying to explain that, I'm going to go get a beer. It is now beer time.
You can get two for the amount of time it's going to take.
I was going to say, the unofficial sponsor will be Carlos's beer because he's going to go get his good beer with the whiskey barrel. So we're going for
the whiskey barrel beer. Yeah.
It's good. It actually tastes quite nice. Be right back. Go ahead, Eric. Explain how Montreal cheated. Go for it.
Yes, please.
When the rules allow you to pick all the best French Canadian players first and have first refusal, and you have Beliveau, Lafleur, Richard again, Lemaire,
boom, Savard. We can keep going.
Serge. I mean, it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And it's like, how do the Canadians win like 26 Stanley Cups? Well, when you get to have all the best players and French Canada play for your team. You know, it's called fucking cheating. So I believe the Canadians have won 2 Stanley Cups. All right. And 86 is a stretch because there's still some leftovers from the cheating days. And was it 93? So Montreal's won 2 Stanley Cups, not 20 whatever.
24.
Yeah, not 24. 2. Okay. And those other 22 Stanley Cups should be given to the team that they beat.
Then the Leafs would have 24. Anyways.
So F Montreal.
So
I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them.
All I'm hearing, all I'm hearing here, Bobby, just so to clarify, basically to summarize Eric's point. So what I'm hearing is, first, it was that Boston didn't have enough goonery, and they were beaten in the goonery despite having the drunken Irishman, which they didn't leverage correctly, which we just talked about. But now he's saying that through the rules, he's basically alluding to corruption. Now, I believe it is one Bougie-Eric who speaks often of the Massachusetts corruption. So it strikes me that they are subject matter experts on corruption. So, Bobby, what I'm hearing is a ping of jealousy that they're beating you at the thing you're supposed to be good at.
Yes. Is that not
corruption?
normal?
Like, Eric, all you needed was Montreal, Massachusetts, and you'd be like, yes, we are. Bonjour.
Exactly. And you might even know how to spell moi.
It's like mon frere, sign the fucking contract.
Right
well,
now,
there is something to that.
Politician waiting for her federal sentencing. She's already had to plead guilty to corruption charges. She's waiting for her sentencing in August. So yes, there's a lot of corruption here. It is continuous.
And yet that didn't translate into victory. Again, not leveraging your skills correctly.
That's why Marchand left. Anyways, if Eric is right in a certain sense that, Montreal
dangerous words. He's been clipped.
In a sense, I had to back up that. Yes, Montreal did get the opportunity to have first pick of the Montreal players. I understand that. But most of the other English-speaking players would not like to play in Montreal. They wouldn't want to go to another languaged team. So it was almost exclusively back and forth. Now, we know a lot of great players come out of Montreal, but a lot of came out of, Eastern Canada, Western Canada, stuff like that.
Well, the thing is, the irony here is that the Gordie Howe point negates this argument.
It does.
Detroit was able to get Gordie Howe. And now, again, there's only one Gordie Howe, but there were other great, Stan Mikita and Phil Esposito and, Bobby Hull all playing in Chicago. So clearly it is possible for these American teams to get quality players. These players are at least decent as far as I'm aware.
It was based on farm teams, and that's the one thing that happened. Especially, you can take Bobby Orr, for example. Here he's in Ontario, Parry Sound, and Boston got him. Like, how does that work? Like, that's not fair.
The point is, it was possible, but it just means that those teams, though, didn't do a good job. Because clearly it was possible to get these players, even Canadian players. The French Canadian players were obviously excellent, but they weren't the only good players in the game.
No.
The aforementioned Gordie Howe.
And they reached far. Like, one of the farm teams for Toronto Maple Leafs back in the 60s was Tulsa Oilers. Like, really? Tulsa? Yeah. And there's probably a half a dozen other too. So he who had the most farm teams won, or actually got the better choices of players. So
see, Dan has a retort for you, Eric.
Okay. Patriots cheated. Yes, they did. Celtics cheated. Not to my knowledge. Red Sox cheated. Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
So the Red Sox, that's why Alex Cora had to sit out a whole season because after they won the 2018 World Series, there was sign stealing accusations or something, that Cora was doing when he was with
Houston,
and then he brought the same thing over to Boston. They were doing it in Boston. So he got suspended for a year. And the Patriots had Deflategate, Spygate, your Mothergate. I don't know, all sorts of different things.
Stuff going on.
A lot of people didn't know about your Mothergate. Eric is telling us new information.
But yeah. I don't recall any cheating allegations of the Boston Celtics.
Eric, what if I told you that the Celtic
that's
mascot is not a real leprechaun?
You can't say the Tuck rule was cheating when that was NFL officials who came up with that dumbass thing.
Mm-hmm.
So no.
Dan's right on that one.
Yes, okay.
I'm kind of enjoying Dan's course here.
Listen, I'm all in on Snowblower Gate also. Yep, you're correct. I'm not saying this stuff didn't happen.
But what are you saying, Eric, as far as the Boston Celtic, the leprechaun not being a real leprechaun? Tell us, why are we sitting on a throne of lies?
You don't know. What do you mean? You don't know that?
Oh, I do know that. I have sources. I know people.
You don't know. It's real.
What time is it now? I can't.
Right now we're at I think 10:34. I'll double check. It's gonna need to bring it back on the screen. So I think we're about halfway through the period.
No, I meant real time.
Oh, 9:32.
9:32.
9:32. And then if you look at the Boston Celtics, there is no leprechaun, luck of the Irish or anything, because
you killed the leprechaun.
Well,
I think it's more of a lexicon.
Let's take a look.
Eric, this has gone deeper. We went from conspiracy to murder.
Len Bias, some have said, was better than Jordan, and he was dead like 24 hours after getting drafted.
How convenient.
Reggie Lewis drops in the middle of a game with heart issues, and he dies.
How doubly convenient.
Larry Bird blows his back out building a driveway for his mother, even though the guy's a millionaire and could hire 100 different companies to come and put in a driveway at his mother's house, but he tries to do it himself and blows his back out. Then he has the bone spurs in his feet in that operation, right? So we lost all this Larry Bird time. Then we got broken Larry Bird at the end. It not a good time in Celtics history, believe it or not. There was a period there after 87 that things went bad.
Eric, look, all I'm hearing is excuses. Ray Bourque wasn't even alive for the last 10 years of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And still won. He was that good.
So what's Larry Bird's excuse then?
Larry Bird wasn't a zombie.
Oh.
So now we admit he's a zombie.
Touche.
All right.
What?
Touche. We'll give him that.
So, Bobby, the truth comes out.
It does, yeah, in a weird way.
It blurts out at the worst possible moment. Stu says, was the Larry Bird rule cheating? Listen, we're right now, Eric finally admitted Ray Bourque was a zombie. So now we're already off to a good place here. We're working on it. Dan here says, Celtics used to overheat the visiting locker room at the Garden. I appreciated the Garden. Spelled correctly.
Well, that was, hold on. So that was...
Eric not knowing how to work the dials, Eric.
Well, that was what they wanted people to believe.
This is more complicated than the pool noodle. What are we supposed to do here?
There was no air conditioning in the Boston Garden. So if it was 100 degrees, it was 100 degrees during the game and all the fans were sweating. And in the locker rooms, either home or away, there were nothing. There was no air conditioning. So
see how cheap Eddie Shore was?
The Celtics didn't deny anything, right? Because they wanted to get in the head, especially of the Lakers, and make them think they were messing with them.
Now, do you think, Eric, that part of messing with them was that during those things where it was 100 degrees inside the Garden, that all the Celtics players were coming out and they're like, turn down the AC, man. It's cold in there.
And Magic's going, I love the heat.
Yeah, they would do stuff just to mess with them like that. But the Garden was a dump. It was our dump. We loved it, but it was filled with rats, and it was a garbage dump. And it didn't have air conditioning. Not in the Celtics locker room, not in the visiting locker room, nothing.
Or so Bougie Eric claims.
Primitive, are we? Damn.
Yes, that's also true. Dan, I'm not going to argue with you. Manny got caught twice and had a.
Maybe you should tell him in a more Bostonian accent, and maybe he'd believe you.
Manny had a 50 and a 100 game suspension, as far as I remember, and David Ortiz was on that secret list that wasn't supposed to be made public.
Secret.
So, yep, both of them were dirty, and neither one of them should be in the Hall of Fame.
That's another Pete Rose thing.
Now Eric, has it come out there on the Boston side that the reason David Ortiz was on that list was actually a cover-up because they didn't want to find out he was on the chocolate stick list, which is far more dangerous and would have been ruinous to his career. So being on the steroid list was honestly a better choice.
It's one of the few lists you don't want to be on.
I cannot confirm or deny anybody on the chocolate stick list. I've been sworn to secrecy, and it is not something I am willing to divulge.
The first rule of chocolate stick list is don't talk about chocolate stick list.
That's it.
Boom.
Is it 9:45 yet, Carlos?
9:37.
It is 9:37.
Okay, I gotta go at 9:45.
All right, my good said. Go and say it, Eric. To be fair, there was a player in the Yankees who I believe was suspended for a year for steroid use. Probably A-Rod, actually. I think A-Rod had a couple suspensions.
Oh yeah,
A-Rod was a huge steroid user. And
no, but I'm speaking specifically.
Days.
Yeah, I'm speaking specifically though of like the multi-strike rule thing because I think first penalty was I want to say it was 50 games.
50.
I'm going from memory. I think it was 50, and then it was 100.
Yeah,
yeah, and then the third one was I think a lifetime ban.
So Manny got 2.
Andy Ramirez.
Yeah.
Stuke says, do they put mayo as filler for those chocolate sticks? Allegedly.
That's disgusting. Won't be disgusting.
Just saying. Just saying.
It would be like a chocolate Twinkie at that point.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be nice?
No.
That white stuff, sort of like a how do you call it? A ding dong in the States.
You're trying to
Who
take
calls things ding? At least we had Joe Louis, that ding dongs and freaking whatever. Anyways, go on, move on. Sorry.
Yep. My good says, Eric, you have to check out the Baltimore Orioles. They have a first baseman now named Mayo. I miss Rod. Listen,
and
it was better
quarterback, isn't it? Or coach?
No. The one? So there was there was a player who would have Mayo. We called him the Mayo Man. So that was a different thing. But the good one was that the Patriots had, past tense, the coach Gerard Mayo.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I had a little video package with Gerard Mayo when he was named, but I might have had a video package when he was named coach.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Greatness. Truly greatness.
He wasn't a very good coach. He's a good person and a great player, but he didn't really come through as a coach as we had hoped.
Well, I think it's the players that let him down because honestly, I stand with Coach Mayo. 7:48 left in the second period, and it is about to turn 9:40. So just let you know, Bobby.
Okay, I'll come back early. I'll go over now. Okay.
Yep. Just let you know, giving you enough a heads up. Stu says, when you eat your Smarties, do you eat the red ones last? Supporting Eric.
I don't eat Smarties, and I've never heard about any color trend.
It was a commercial. It was a thing for a commercial.
No, I've never. I don't know it.
Yeah, that was a playoff of that was a question in a commercial.
I don't.
Or it's part of the jingle. Carlos, the other person.
Candy, but I like talk. Not. I like brand name, like Snickers bars and stuff. Right. I don't eat like that garbage candy that like Smarties and another. I don't know what other type of that type of garbage. I never liked that. Not even as a kid. I didn't want any of that stuff.
It's candy coated chocolate. It's literally chocolate with a candy coat.
I don't know. I not for me. I want M&Ms. I want Snickers bars. Three Musketeers. I don't want any weird stuff, man.
Yeah. Mike Good says, Carlos, at the end of first period, did you play the $1 Million Man? Not yet. Maybe after the second. We'll see. I'm not going to promise anything yet, but we'll see. Billy Joe says, the funniest during this shit was the bowl game sponsored by a Mayo company. Yes.
Ugh.
It was the Hellman's. I think it was Hellman's or Duke's. No, it was Duke's.
Yeah,
Duke's was the one.
Mayo Bowl. And, Carlos, do you remember, I outed myself a little because I've sent you pictures a couple of years ago. I was watching a cyclocross race that was sponsored by a Belgian mayonnaise company, and like everywhere they went, you had these big mayonnaise ads behind the riders on every part of the course. I don't know if you remember me sending that to you a couple of years ago, but
look, I'm not saying it was the impetus that got us the AI generated mayonnaise related art, but it might have been.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's like I can't even watch cycling without mayonnaise being all involved. It's freaking
the
gross.
word is destiny.
It's fucking
Destiny.
Gross. Fucking gross. All right, 6 minutes. 6 minutes left in the second here. Come
Indeed.
on, boys. I want to go into the third, 2 goals up.
Yep. Now, kind of as a side thing, I'll share it a little bit later. But I did today, in addition to that Medano Classic Portraits, the bust, which I'm looking forward to adding to my desk here, I was able to purchase a Chosen Rose in 1 of 1.
Do you have to beat people off for that? Was there a long list?
Let me tell you, they were fun. That one was actually a fun story. And to make a long story short, I've been watching it for a while, and I had made offers on it previously. And I'm sitting there going like, basically my philosophy, and I've been very clear about this. Whenever I'm offering on one of these, it's like my mentality is like, dude, I'm doing you a favor. I'm offering you actual cash money for something that honestly no one else wants. So if I'm offering you an offer, you know what? Hey, take it. But the guy was stubborn. And we went back and forth a while back, maybe like a year ago or 6 months or something like that. It was a while. But I was looking at it, and he had finally started lowering the price, and he had gotten it down to a certain point. So I was like, all right. So what's funny is that where he was at, he had gotten to the point where his buy it now price was now one of my offers that I had made. And I was like, I could just hit buy it now, but no. Now I'm going to offer you less. So we did compromise. He ended up taking a little bit less than one of my offers previously. But I was sitting there like, this is what happens when you're stubborn. If you had just taken it when I offered it to you the first time, you would have actually made more.
You big dummy.
It's funny. Like the demand isn't there, shockingly. Yeah. Just take the money. Like, honestly, just take the money. I was offering it out of the goodness of my heart. At that point, it's charitable contribution. Just take it.
Take the money, dummy.
But, hey, some of these sellers got to be stubborn. It is what it is. They got to do what they got to do. I wouldn't advise it. I advise against it, but hey. Mike Good says, if Florida wins, do you think the Rat will play another season? I think regardless of whether they win or not, I don't think he's necessarily interested in retiring. He's right now, he's played so well in this playoff. Seriously. He can command himself a nice little contract. So like he'll come back and cash out because right now he's still playing very well. So and realistic, there's a bunch of teams who would happily take him on to be like, hey, can you do this for us in the playoffs?
I'm hoping he's going to come back to Boston. I think everyone here hopes that, right? Because he's an unrestricted free agent. So we're hoping he's going to come back to Boston and put the C back on his chest and play another 2 years or so. But I think with this performance, because I do believe that if they win tonight, he will get the Conn Smythe.
I think he's right up there. I think he's a prime candidate.
So he wins the Stanley Cup. He wins the Conn Smythe. He's 37 years old. There's definitely teams that will have salary cap room that are going to, give him offers.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he has a house and his family and, friends and everything back in Boston. It's one thing to go down to Florida for a few months, for work. But, Boston's is his home. So, he's been here since he was a kid, right? When he's like, what, 18 years old and joins the Boston Bruins. He's like 37 now or some ridiculous thing, right? So, I mean, it's been 20 years. I don't think it'd be unreasonable to think that he'd want to play the next 2 years of his career back in Boston, where his kids have friends and his wife has friends and he has friends.
But it's Boston.
Listen, I wouldn't want to live in Boston.
You live in Boston.
I do. I live 20 minutes outside of Boston. I do not.
Oh,
yes, that is fundamentally different when you say so.
True enough. Yeah.
I live 20 minutes north. I don't want to live in Boston. I hate Boston.
Okay.
Seems awkward when your favorite team is
Boston.
Called Boston.
It runs it. There's some issues there. Yeah, it runs into.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's very, very conflicting sounding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Mm. So yes, can I answer your question, Mike? I think he's going to play regardless, and there's money on the table for him regardless. I think he'll get an offer, and more than likely he'll get a couple of offers, and he can field and look for an opportunity, and either he can take the money.
He might come to trial.
So right now there's
maybe.
So right now we're in an interesting spot because this year's, hockey doesn't really call it hot stove, but I'm going to use the word hot stove league just to talk about the concept. There's a lot of players that could potentially shift around a little bit because there's some players that are going to be available. There's some potential trades to be made. There's some teams that have, hey, we need to sign this guy to a contract, but we might not want to. So maybe we get something for him. There's a lot of that going on right now. A lot of teams are evaluating their situation as we speak.
Yeah. And what contracts are stuck with, with who are high paying, so Marner's pretty much gone, right?
Yeah. He's going to be a free agent. So he's unrestricted free agent. So he can go anywhere he wants.
Toronto's not going to pay for him.
Nope.
I would rather keep Marner than.
What's funny is that Toronto would be more willing to pay him. At this point, he doesn't want it.
Yeah, he wants to go somewhere where he's going to win.
Yeah,
but he won't be famous anywhere else. He's just going to be.
The point is he doesn't want to play in Toronto. Period. At this point, he just doesn't want to play in Toronto. And at this point, the fans of Toronto don't want him. But he received an offer during the season.
You have to be, when it comes to playing in these major cities and these hotbeds for whatever sport these athletes
What's up, Zach?
You have to have a certain personality and mindset. Some people cannot go to the mecca of their sport and play and deal with 24 hours a day on the ice, off the ice, off season, during the season. It's on 100% of the time. And it is mostly criticism. No matter what you do, unless you win the title, no matter what you do, there will be criticism. And
how about the Leafs fans? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and whether it be the Yankees fans, Leafs fans, Lakers fans. I mean,
3-0 Florida, man.
It's over. Right. It's over now.
So
once you get 3, that's it.
It doesn't, these hotbeds of sport. Some players just can't play there. I mean, they can go off to Kansas City and do great, and play for the Kansas City Royals, or they could go to Tampa and play for the Buccaneers, or and do wonderful because there's no pressure.
Yeah.
But you go play for the Jets.
Marner comes with a pretty big price tag, actually. If you
what he's going to be asking for is going to be so right now. So it's a bit of a catch-22. So what Eric's talking about is part of the equation. Sure. He is a Toronto boy. He grew up being a Leafs fan and all that stuff. Got drafted by the team and everything.
Sure.
But that relationship soured a couple of years ago during their last contract negotiation.
He
got played in a certain way. Yeah. But the thing is, at the same time, Toronto was being weird about it. The family was being weird about it. And the way they played it out ended up airing in front of the media and the public. So kind of the honeymoon period ended at that point. So now it became, all right, the only way you're getting out of this is if you perform at such a level where it offsets it. Because if you perform at a super high level and hey, you do great and you
Well, you got
even
100
even if
points,
the Leafs
right?
lose, even if the Leafs lose, but the point wasn't the regular season points. That no one was questioning that. He had a 100-point season this year.
Right.
So very good. Obviously, look, 100-point players don't grow on trees. Like that's a very, very good thing.
Oh.
But the issue you run into is that when it came to the playoffs, you wouldn't get even a fraction of that. You weren't getting, you see, the performance would not elevate, whereas Marchand is increasing his stock as we speak.
Right.
Sure.
He's not a 100-point player at this point in his career or anywhere near it. However, on the playoffs, he's scoring goals. He's setting players up. He's being irritating. He's doing all the things that you ask. So Marchand's stock is actually increasing every round that's been going on, and he's actually performing at that level. That's the guys you're looking for. In terms of physical talent, Marner can certainly command good dollar. He'll be right up there near the top paid guys. And there are teams who can pay that. There are teams who will pay that, are willing to do that, because they just need a 100-point scorer. They don't even care if you can't do it in the playoffs. They'll get other talent to deal with that, but they still need somebody to perform during the regular season, get you to the playoffs, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah, it keeps the patrons going too, right?
Yeah,
That's
it'll
another part.
keep things exciting during the regular season. At least put butts in the seat during the season, because you need that too.
Yes.
So with these teams, it's not, you want to succeed in the playoffs, yes, but you gotta get to the playoffs first. Step one, get to the playoffs. Even if this guy goes
Get
on
him to the
vacation,
Greek.
as soon as like Eric, there are some players in the NHL where I'm confident you could probably do better just getting a deal where like here's what I want you to do. I just want you to go full board during the regular season. Okay. As soon as the playoffs start, go home.
Yeah.
I don't even need you. But I still needed you to get to the playoffs. So you still served your purpose. You still did a job for me. But now you can go, we'll get somebody else to fulfill the other side of the equation here. Because there's some players who are just better at playoff hockey.
Yeah.
But after what the Bruins did a couple of years ago, I mean, they literally had the greatest season in NHL history and shit the bed in the playoffs. It's like, I'd rather have them be 500, limp into the playoffs, and win the Stanley Cup. So I have no interest in your regular season stats, or just get into the playoffs. No matter what sport I'm rooting for, of the major four or anything else, just get into the playoffs and then turn it up.
Yeah.
Because
there was stretches of times this season where Florida actually was struggling during the regular season.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it didn't matter because that wasn't the point. The point was to get to the playoffs. And then once Florida got to the playoffs, then they're like, okay, this team is designed from the ground up. The type of player they have right now on that roster is designed to be like, okay, we're going to be physical. We're going to do these things. This is what we're going to grind teams down. We're going to basically make lives miserable. And that's what they were doing round by round. And they get to this one. Edmonton has all the talent in the world. All the talent you could possibly want. And by the way, Edmonton's not getting blown out of the water. They're still 3-2. Like they won some games, but and they got to the Stanley Cup final and they actually won games, and they were in Game 7 last year. So like clearly Edmonton isn't devoid of the ability to do some stuff, but Florida's designed to get over that hill to complete the task, and that's a big difference.
We know that Florida went out and got pieces for the playoff run, Marchand being one of them.
Yeah.
There was a couple of others. I'm asking this. I'm not being sarcastic or flippant. I'm asking this. What did Edmonton do at the trade deadline? What did they do to help them get over the hump?
Yeah, to bolster what they had.
I don't know.
Well, they had the first round draft pick for 5 years in a row prior. So it's like,
but he's saying between like Florida literally won the Stanley Cup last year, and they still added Marchand. So on top of what they already had, they added another piece, and they said, we'll be even better. That's our goal here.
Right.
And this is why Edmonton Oilers are not a team that play well together. They have all the talent on the books. They look great, but in the game, they are not. So, and that's sort of very much like the Leafs.
Well, it's not like the Leafs because the Leafs can't get to the final. Edmonton at least can get that far.
On the books.
Yeah.
On the books, they look great. You got Marner scoring 100 points in the you got Matthews with the great hands. You got a lot of other great players, and it's just not enough. You need the team.
No, I'm with you. But what I'll say though, Bobby, is when you're doing the comparison though, Edmonton is the rich man's Leafs because the Leafs aren't even as good as Edmonton is at it. They at least got to the final. So they are in the final. At least they're having that opportunity.
Yes.
So they're at least good enough to get there. So their talent obviously is good enough to carry them through. multiple rounds. Toronto's talent is not.
Oh no, we know that.
Yeah, so that's the differentiator. So Edmonton's issue, like to Eric's point, again, they just need adequate goaltending, and honestly, they'd be in the mix here. But the problem is they don't have adequate, and that's a deficiency they haven't resolved. That's a problem.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's about team play. I don't think they play like a team. They all.
Stuart Skinner is literally a garbage goaltender, Bobby.
Okay, that's fine, but they don't play like a team. Do you watch? You can watch the game between Florida and.
I am watching the game, and I watched Stuart Skinner give up a rebound.
Calm, where it's desperation every time with Edmonton, and it's very.
Bobby, I agree, but the last goal there, the one that could be a backbreaker, Stuart Skinner gave up the ugliest rebound you're ever going to see, and made it very easy. It was a terrible goal that Stuart Skinner didn't have to cause. He caused it. That goal was on Stuart Skinner.
Sure.
Yeah. And right now, Stuart Skinner has been in a lot of those compromising positions where it's like, it's not that the rest of the team let you down. You are actually letting you down. You're playing terribly. You're letting the shots go through that should not be going through.
Well, let me tell you what I'm going to do.
The one thing they did do is they got to the finals.
They did.
With Skinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but right now with that team, it's despite Skinner. Right now, the problem is that team is doing it despite.
I think it's the team. I think they're just not playing as a team. You can blame Skinner all you want. I think they lack the team cohesiveness that actually Florida does have. They have a very relaxed, calm style of play. Florida, it's almost like we'll get a goal. We'll just work it. We're just gonna do what we do, and where Edmonton is all over the board, just flying around and trying to do special passes and make all these plays out of nothing, and it's unorganized, and it's not going to get you anywhere because there's no consistency to that. So I'm just saying that's the way I see the game between the two teams. And who has the better talent? Edmonton. But they just don't come together as a team. Too many individuals, like I said, like Toronto. It's not a team yet. There's a few other good teams out there, but they just don't have the talent pool to go with the consistency. So, it's like watching, I watch the Leaf games and you watch the highlights and you just sit there and go, geez, we're lucky to win that. We're lucky to win that one. It's just like every time. And then you see Matthew score some great goals and you see Marner do a lot of stuff, but it's just not enough having two guys. Oh, you have another couple guys, but I mean, it's just not enough. There's not enough team play. And I just don't know if it's shifting the lines around or who knows what it is. Maybe they just need a revamp. Maybe they rebuild is well, if they get rid of Marner, it's a rebuild. So we're looking at.
Well, the thing is they don't have a choice in the matter anymore. Marner's going anyway. He's a free agent.
So it's a rebuild now because you can't build it off of Matthews because Matthews' name is only when he touches the puck, and that's rarely. And if he gets a goal, he's a great goal scorer, but he's just not the team player. He doesn't, I don't know. He's just not the right guy. Anyways, and then who do we have left? And who's going to stay? Who wants to stay with the Leafs? Like, people like being with the Leafs. I understand that. Maybe to retire with the Leafs, it's great because we're a great fan base. You'll always be respected. But honestly, just not there with the teams. And they really have to become a team again. And I don't even know what again means because it's been so long since the last Stanley Cup or even got past the second round. That's been 20 years, 15 years, whatever. It's kind of sad as being a Leaf fan because you almost want to root for somebody else. Just saying.
I think you're going to enjoy rooting for somebody else for a while because based on your definition of getting a team, they're not fixing that ever.
They're not. No, they're far away from it. They're another 5-10 years away again. And who are they going to get? Maybe we'll get McDavid. And that'll just change everything. No, David's a very individualistic player. Great player, but too much of an individual, I think. And I just, Draisaitl too, another great player. But you can put Draisaitl with a lot of people. You can't put Marner with a lot of people. So McDavid. Marner will set people up. McDavid will do the setup. He does a little bit of setup, but he doesn't. He's more of a goal scorer, and he doesn't.
No, he's not. He's literally had 100 assists multiple times
for sure. But
Bobby, most of his points are assists. He's by far an assist guy. He doesn't shoot nearly as much as you think.
As you would like him to.
Yeah, but that's a different conversation. So you can't have this both ways. Either he's more of a goal scorer and he shoots too much, or he doesn't shoot too much. He's a playmaker. He has 100 assists. He is an assist guy.
Yeah, but he's such a great, he gets so many breakaways though. Like,
Yeah,
honestly.
and when he decides he wants to shoot more, he's had a 60 goal season because he decided that year to shoot more.
Yeah.
But when he doesn't shoot more, he still gets 100 assists anyway.
But he has it in him, and he just never. I don't know why he doesn't.
I know how to help.
What?
We need to give him this book.
We can't read that. What's that say?
We can teach you to play hockey.
By the Esposito brothers.
Oh, Tony and Phil?
Tony
Come
and
on,
Phil.
really? Are you kidding?
We can teach you to play hockey.
Is it signed or something? At
It
least?
isn't. No, it's not signed. I wish it was, but
It's just
if I
taking
get
up
the
space then.
opportunity- If I get the opportunity to see Phil, maybe I'll have him do it. But it goes
Gotcha.
over skating drills, equipment, forward, defense, passing, forward, goaltending, obviously.
Obviously.
And then they got for defense, of course, they got Bobby Orr in here. The rules.
Does in the section for Bobby Orr defense, what does it say about diving so that a photo is taken so that you can take credit for something? Does it include the diving section in there?
Yeah, I think it's no.
It doesn't have him diving. No, no.
Oh, so it's CGI. It's not even a real photo. Got it.
So this book is from blah, 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 blah.
Probably the 70s.
Ed Fitkin, maybe.
This is from 1972.
See, like that was an easy guess,
And-
I didn't even know the book. I said the 70s, guaranteed,
Had to
100%.
be.
And it's
The font and the image and everything. It's so 70s, it hurts.
seems
like it
to
was
be
so
the
obvious.
first edition.
Who?
He's saying first edition.
It seems
Who's the
to be
writer?
a first edition.
Who's the author?
Phil
Well,
and Tony.
it's supposed to be by Phil and Tony Esposito with Kevin Walsh. So basically, Kevin Walsh.
So Kevin Walsh. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Whoever he is.
He's no Richard Scott, is all I'm saying.
Oh,
Well, who is?
Honestly.
I don't know.
So I picked that up at work today.
Well, it worked today.
Oh yeah.
He picked it up.
Go to work,
It
come
was on the
home.
shelf, and he just picked it up.
just right there. Hold on. The claw. I see. All right.
I came across it and I was like, that looked nice in my collection.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
A big connoisseur of the hockey literature, are we?
I have actually a lot of books. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
A lot of them are signed now, but
It's all about Eric's bibliothèque.
there are I have a lot of books. Yeah. That bookcase right there is loaded.
The
So the top shelf is Satanic
repository
Works.
that
What
he
else you got?
has is beyond.
No, you can see there, Bobby. You can tell the sign of the beast is there. So the top shelf is Satanic Works. And what else you got there?
Yeah.
Books of the occult.
No, I keep those in the other room. We have a special
you claim.
room where the altar is.
the special room where you keep the pool noodle.
The Pentagon and the 666, and yeah. It's right underneath his pedalless bike or whatever it is.
I see. The plot thickens. I see.
It's where my mother lives.
Wow. Oh,
Wow.
holy jumping.
We'll find out in a minute or two whether or not she's
Oh, you will. Oh, for sure. If not,
Yeah?
she'll be up with a bat soon. It'll be an 86 Red Sox bat, and you'll be having kind of a headache.
We'll see momentarily if she's watching.
One of these days,
probably
Eric, what's going to happen is we're going to gift Kathy. We're going to gift her a baseball bat. It's going to be an 86 Bill Buckner.
Mm.
Done.
And you're finished.
Yep. You're getting it.
And we won't tell you when she's creeping up behind you because we can see, but we wouldn't say anything.
He wouldn't say.
No.
No.
The Schadenfreude is too strong.
It'd be
I
kind
have
of a Lizzie
personal rules about
Borden
this.
moment.
Don't encourage her to come up here. She'll hit me.
I don't know if anybody got that reference, but anyways.
I didn't hear you. What?
Lizzie
Lizzie
Borden
Borden.
moment.
Oh, yeah, that's a Massachusetts thing. It's Fall River.
It is, isn't it? Though, yeah. Another fucking
Yeah.
So Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her father 40 whacks. When he found out what she'd done, gave her mother 41. Anyways, let's move on to better things in Boston.
That's Fall River, Massachusetts.
Fictional? Like,
no, it's true. It's true. True story.
No, I'm talking about better things in Boston.
No, that's fictional.
Better things in Boston are works of fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a lot of.
That's why you don't live in Boston.
We got a lot of murders. You got Whitey Bulger.
I know Roy Bulger.
What happened to Blackie Bulger, you racist?
Oh, jeez, yes.
Honestly.
He was on the other side of the family.
So you claim. Just saying. Good Lord.
Which side, though?
Got the Boston Strangler, which gets brought up from time to time.
Well, that's fucking everywhere.
All right, we got some good comments here. Hold on. Korean says, do you Canadians care at all if another Canadian team wins the cup? I don't. No, you want to win it, earn the damn thing.
You know, the cup belongs to Canadians, so at any time we can take it away. But just saying.
Well, I was gonna say, you realize like half the players on this roster. Like, look, here's the thing:
are still Canadians,
we can throw a rock and hit 14 hockey players. If we want the damn cup, listen, we don't need to win it. We just take it.
Yeah.
Hey, one of these days, Eric, just out of spite, what I got to do is if I have a couple of mutual connections, maybe I'll take the fucking Stanley Cup and I'll just have it right here. I'm like, you know where the Stanley Cup is? Right fucking here.
You know, it's almost true, Carlos, because actually that cup was donated to every single Canadian. So they own it equally. If you want to go down to the Hockey Hall of Fame and hold it over your head, they cannot deny you because you are a Canadian. If you are Canadian status, I'm just saying. Yeah. That cup is exclusively Canadian. You can hold it in other places, of course. I'm just saying it is that it was donated for that reason.
But you shouldn't touch it unless you win it. And when I took my
Eric, that's the point of my desecration. My plan to make the point here is going to be not only to have the Stanley Cup here, I will unscrew the top and drink my beer from it.
I don't know if you can unscrew the top, but anyway.
Oh, you will after I'm done with it, Bobby. We're going to make some modifications. We're making some modifications. This is Stanley Cup 2.0.
So we're upgrading this shit.
We're upgrading this shit. We're going to fix this.
Hey, Jim Duggan, bring the hacksaw.
Yeah, we're taking care of this. It's going to be fine. All right. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. All of a sudden, it's like, why is the Stanley Cup? Listen, I've made some improvements. Got
a tap coming out of it. Yeah.
Eric, it will be so much better. The cup will be so much better after I'm done. It'll be amazing. Mm-hmm. Has it taken too long to get another cup for my state? Florida man has spoken. Ritzky says, odds the Oilers have the same coach gave. Odds the Oilers have the same coach gave.
What's that?
Yes. That's it. That was the entire sentence.
Have the same coach.
The same coach gave. I'm going to go with it. Sounds good.
Okay. Gabe got me. Anyways.
He drank from the Stanley Cup. It's fine.
Okay. That's fine. Who hasn't?
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Odds the Oilers coach have the same coach. Game 1 next year. You know, the coach will still be there. He'll be fine. The issue isn't the coaching. the issue is they have some team composition issues they need to work on.
See, he likes the Bulger.
Yep. Morning for another hour there. There you go. All right. So good morning to you. Want to make sure I got caught up on the comments.
I think it's the wrong morning. I think it's with the U. Yes.
Well, he's in Korea, so he's all right.
Like we say, annyeonghaseyo.
Yeah, but kind of going back to what I was saying though, like no, I don't have this fixation with Canada was first of all, Alberta's not part of Canada, so they're an independent state at best. Yeah, allegedly. But even if I wanted to argue with it, like listen, I'm in Ontario. We don't actually care about the West. Like we just don't,
or the East for that matter.
Truthfully, yes. Like I don't, Eric. Really, what it comes down to is we just look. I gotta be honest.
Of our own, yes.
Does it even count? Like honestly, even if Edmonton won, would Canada have won a Stanley Cup? I wouldn't count it.
No. Calgary did. Nope. Vancouver. No.
Nope.
Nope. Just deny it.
Nope.
Not gonna happen. Sorry. And all the Eastern, other than Montreal, that only won 2 cups. We have nothing else Eastern.
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, Eric, my stance remains the same. My canon is that 2 foreign nations are fighting for the Stanley Cup right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's no great divide on that. It is who.
Yeah. And actually, to be fair,
To be fine.
That was good. That was actually not bad. Good. Nice.
It was
Nice.
a little out of pitch, but he held on.
I'll give it.
a long time.
I'll give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. That was solid.
Mhm.
Decent. Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
I would argue one step further. I would dare say Florida's not even part of the United States. So as far as I'm concerned, a not Canadian place is fighting a not American place. So really, these are truly foreign nations.
With
It might as well be literally Switzerland versus the Dutch. So who do you want me to root for here?
But they're mostly Canadian players at this point.
Listen, I understand. Sometimes basketball players go and play basketball in Russia. It happens.
Mhm.
It is what it is. I don't know what to
I
say.
remember the Dream Team. I remember what happened.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's not even a Canada versus America here. This is whatever Alberta is versus whatever Florida is.
Yeah.
So you know,
Well, I think
we got two.
with all the stuff going on with the tariffs and stuff like that. I think it's the Canada versus America series, whatever it is. But nobody in the United States is watching comparatively in Canadian population to watch the final game. They don't care. They're
Listen,
watching
it is what
basketball.
it is. We're doing the best we can,
watching
considering we've got
basketball.
Mesopotamia taking on Uzbekistan.
Oh, the best.
I thought it was Estonia. Anyways, go ahead.
One of them is Estonia. Doesn't matter. Regardless,
Okay.
they can both be Estonia. Like, it doesn't really matter.
All right.
But yeah,
It's
from that
close.
perspective, no. If it's going to be, I think if it's going to be like a Canadian team, it would probably have to be like I'm being serious. Like, if the Vancouver Canucks won the Stanley Cup, do you honestly think we care? Honestly, do you really?
No, that's like the California of Canada. So no, we wouldn't care.
Yeah. So
They're too far out there. It's like
Calgary,
Beachcomber
no.
area.
Calgary,
We don't want
no.
Beachcombers, no.
yeah, Calgary, no.
Winnipeg,
Edmonton,
no.
definitely not. No. Winnipeg, oh, God, no.
Forget it.
God, no. No.
Toronto, yes.
Carlos, you were too young, but Bobby, did you care when Calgary won in '89?
Actually, I was happy for Lanny McDonald.
Sure you were. That makes sense.
And because he left the Leafs before that, and because I think it was Ballard's issue with a lot of things that he did. So I was happy for Lanny to win the cup. Yes. Was I happy they won? Not so much, but I was happy for Lanny. Yes.
So that was your Ray Bork.
No, because Lanny's still alive.
True. Facts.
You
Wait.
walked into that.
Hold on.
You
Wait,
walked.
hold on.
Can you believe I brought that on? That's the first. I did.
It was correct. It was correctly done.
Thank you.
Expertly executed, Burrow, in the
Thank
garage of knowledge. Well done.
Okay, just the
Well done,
garage
sir.
of heat knowledge because it's hot as a bitch in here. Fuck.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking. I actually haven't had today. It's actually been okay down here, but I'm actually
you got
thinking
your
of clear.
air conditioning fixed, right?
I do. I did get it fixed, but I actually today the air down here has been okay. I'm actually going to flip on the AC in a second.
Oh, you
But it's
haven't
actually been
flipped it
okay.
on.
I haven't had to. Like down here, because I had it on for a couple of days.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah,
air
yeah,
down
yeah.
here had been okay, but I'm
It
going to flip it
stayed.
on in a second. But I'm going to flip it on in a second just to kind of level it out a little bit.
Sweatshirt on, because I'm right under the AC vent, and I was like, I'm getting chilly.
Yeah. Stuke here saying, I always thought Canada was part of America. See, it's funny. I always thought Minnesota was part of Russia.
Yeah,
We all have geography challenges. We all have geography challenges.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Well, right
since
through
Minnesota,
Saskatchewan, you'd hit
parts of
Russia.
Minnesota are more north than Canada. So honestly, isn't
Most-
part of Minnesota part of North Pole?
Most of Minnesota is north of Toronto. That's for sure.
So that sounds, Eric, that sounds to me. If I use American geographical knowledge here,
Which
that
is
sounds to me like Minnesota's part of Nunavut.
Pretty close.
It seems logical. Seems logical to me.
You're just the length of a province away. That's all.
It's pretty much there.
Yeah.
Vancouver still has a team, allegedly. Facts. Speaking of your comment from earlier. Bobby, are you a Leafs fan? Allegedly. You near Toronto? Also allegedly.
To be honest,
All right,
with
let me
you,
turn on the AC. Go ahead.
Leafs fan. I've actually distanced myself away from the Leafs a lot of late. I still like the old Leaf logo, so I'll collect stuff like that. But I just don't care for them as a team, and they've run us amok for too long, and their ticket prices are way too high for what they're giving us, and I don't believe that's fair to the people. I don't think it's fair. Leaf fans are kind of stupid anyways, because they just keep, Leafs and they're going to take it, man. It's like, come on, kids, whatever. They don't have the team for it this year. And I told everybody that, and I knew it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I went with, there's my fan right there. My Vegas Knights are basically, it's just a team I picked. And when Tulsa comes in, I'm there. Is it Tulsa or Utah? Sorry.
I was going to say, yeah. Well, Utah's already there. Utah was just carry over from the existing team.
Yeah. So I'm going to go for them too. Because I wouldn't mind ending up there.
But are you going to be on board when eventually the expansion goes to Atlanta?
No. don't push me. Because that's the other side.
Bobby, they're still pitching that. They're like, okay, so we got rid of the other guy. We're going to try Atlanta. But Eric, one more time.
I gotta knock it off with that shit.
They won't give up. No. They're not quitters, Eric. They're not quitters.
I think they're building a whole new facility that could house an NHL franchise.
Look, the reason I'm mentioning it is because it's funny, but also because it's true. Like, they're making motions towards the owner that was there in Atlanta. They basically bought him out to boot him out. They basically say, get the fuck out. So that basically was what they did. They let him pretend that, hey, you can have some territorial rights or whatever. But what's going to happen is the statute of limitations on that will end. And when that happens, another group can get together and be like, all right, guys, we're going to put the NHL in Atlanta. We're going to fix it this time. And it's like,
it didn't work last time.
It didn't work either of the last time.
It ain't gonna work this time either.
Third time's a charm.
City. It's not a hockey city, really. It's
not a hockey city. It just isn't. Okay, and let's just let's be mature for a minute here for a second. Okay.
Okay.
That's asking a lot, but we'll try. That's asking a lot, but we'll try.
Per capita, there are more black people in Atlanta than any other city in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, black people are not major hockey fans.
Well, with that attitude, Eric, why would they be?
Why? Yeah.
You have put two franchises.
Beat the dreams of young
Eric,
kids
you
everywhere.
are, despite your attempts to separate yourself, you are from the Bostons. May I remind you that Bill Russell excommunicated you Bostanos based on your shamefulness.
They did some bad things back then.
Yes.
So the NHL has tried twice to put hockey teams in the blackest city in the country.
They can't.
They're not.
I really don't think that particularly was the issue, but sure.
No, listen.
I don't think the demographics are the specific problem in this issue. In this instance,
I think it's a concern for sure.
I don't think it's the number. I don't think it's the one and only issue. But
I think it's very low on the list of issues.
I don't think you. This is the blackest city in the United States. They're not interested in hockey. They're Southern heat black people.
It's hot Atlanta.
Interested.
Well, the heat, Bobby, doesn't play because, again, we're literally watching Florida Man on the cusp of winning the Stanley Cup, and they're not exactly a cold climate.
They're not. No.
But who's the audience in Florida?
It's very low.
Northern people who retired down there.
Northern people.
You have
the Northerners.
The Northerners, right? All across
like Minnesota stuff.
United States.
General Eric of the Confederacy speaking of the North. speaking of the Union.
Where's the Union Jack in the back?
So you have all the Northerners across the top of the country where it's cold. They all moved down there, and then the Canadians all moved to Florida. So you have
Eric. Look, as you continue to get buried further into your clipness, let's just move on from this. The reality is, however you want to slice this, The problem is those franchises were run like shit. They were shit. I don't care who's there. You could have the whitest people in the world. Those still would have failed. They still would have failed because they were run like in Phoenix. That wasn't the issue. It was a shitty franchise. It was a shitty franchise. And the Heat, by the way, doesn't count because Dallas is also hot and they're fine. Because the team that they got got decent fast. It's simple. You win, people get interested. You don't win, Atlanta never did, ever. They're not interested. Shitty franchise, shitty marketing, shitty everything, not going to work. Period. End of story. Zook says, how about the crazy days of the CFL with teams all over the U.S., Birmingham Barracuda, Shreveport, Louisiana, but Baltimore won a Grey Cup. Stop when you were ahead, Eric. Philly Joseph, true.
Listen, I'm not too worried. All right. I get street cred. I'm invited to the barbecue. So, what? Oh,
that was okay.
Yep.
That was so close.
Korean here says, off topic, in your lifetime, will Quebec ever become its own country? No.
It might. They might get a team, but
yeah. So look, just to be serious for a moment.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people don't actually understand what the whole referendum thing is.
No,
it's literally a vote where, just to be clear, that's not binding. For a referendum, you can vote for whatever the hell you want. You can say you're a spaceman. That doesn't make you a spaceman. That's not how that works. The reality is you can be like, okay, we want to be our own country. Cool. So what currency are you going to use? Cool. So what standing army are you going to have? Cool. So when we're dealing with all these things that up until this point have been subsidized and controlled elsewhere, how are you planning on fixing those? By the way, those borders, we don't have to let you cross them. By the way, so there are a lot of logistical issues that come into play. It's a lovely idea that different groups want to entertain from time to time,
foolishness.
but it doesn't work that way. And by the way, we could still say referendum, cool, fuck you.
And then you have the equalization payments that comes from Alberta, which is $6,000 per person per year. How are you going to replace that when you have the highest per capita unemployment in Canada?
Yeah, it's
and then natives own most of your land.
Well, I was going to say, so Bobby, your last point was the salient one because yes. Alberta wants to argue this. And I was like, you do realize that if we enforce the existing treaties, you actually have no land. You are actually squatters on the very land you sit on. So in other words, if you just enforce what's already there, actually, sure, you can have your own country. Where's it going to go? Where's it going to be? Because that land is not actually yours. You don't own it. You don't have any rights to it. And if you're not part of Canada, then we don't have to let you have it. Get the fuck out. Go to Massachusetts. Eric will welcome you.
I don't want them people.
No, you're getting them.
No,
you're getting the Albertans. You're getting the Oilers. McDavid is living in your house. Shut the fuck up, Eric.
No.
Yes, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, he's living in your house.
No.
Walking around in a tantrum saying, buckle down and
damn Florida man. Damn Florida man denied me twice. Eric.
So
damn Florida man.
What's the we're in the third period break or
we are in the right now we're 11-19 left in the third. It is still 3-0 Florida man. So yeah, so to answer your question, Korea, in your lifetime will Quebec ever become a single country? No. And if it ever did, we would declare war on it, and then it would no longer be even a province.
So what did the block get? They got 21 seats or something like that?
Yeah, it's not a concern.
No.
And by the way, I'm being serious. I would 100% listen, Eric, if Quebec ever had a successful referendum, I will be happy to go into government. And my first act, I wish to declare war on Quebec.
Yeah.
We will crush them. We will crush them.
Did he mute himself?
He's mute.
No, I fixed it. Okay. The point is, we will crush them, Eric, and then the poutine will be ours.
Yes. That's one benefit.
Just saying.
Yeah, right. So if you...
They don't want this, Eric. They don't want it.
Country attacks Alberta, the oil will be yours. But if the whole country attacks Quebec, the poutine.
Eric, why can't we attack and have both?
Poutine? Which would you take better?
Bobby, we will take both.
Well, if we have the oil, we can buy enough poutine, so we're good.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Eric, we got this covered. So in reality, no, please, rebel. Rebel, citizens. Do it. Then we can have it all, Eric. It all becomes ours. Ham says Puerto Rico needs a team. Why not? Happy ending. Listen, what Eric does with this pool noodle on his own time is his own business.
Yes.
That's right. So let's not talk about it no more.
Stu says Louis Riel went to Worcester, Massachusetts. It all comes together.
I don't even know who that is.
It's Worcestershire.
I believe it's Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Oh, speaking of which, we have to give a shout out to a rip to Anne Burrell, one of the great chefs of the Food Network. I really liked her a lot. She passed away. She was born in 1969. She was 55, and for some reason she died. I don't know. Heart attack. Who knows? Too much butter, I guess, and salt. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah, it was sad. I really liked her. She was a really good teacher. Crazy, but really good teacher of how to do things properly. So, anyways, you're gonna see. You had what's his name? Oh, Emerald. He had a heart attack. What, like 8 years ago, 9 years ago? They can only eat that food so long.
Well, the problem with a lot of those ones is like if you're a chef that also a lot of those chefs are also like overweight and it's like, look, I understand that you're doing very rich
butter
food
and salt in there.
It's not the healthiest approach.
No.
Do you guys know where Emerald is from?
Yes, he's from the South.
No, Emerald is
Atlanta.
No, he's from Fall
He's
River,
from Opeachy.
He must be.
No, he's from Fall River, Massachusetts.
Oh, fuck. No
Fall River, hold on, wait. Fall River sounds vaguely like made up AI bullshit. What are we talking? Fall River. Hey guys, Fall River. He's like, what's Fall River? It's the opposite of Spring Creek.
Right now,
it's like that movie, The River Runs Through It. I don't know.
It's a huge heroin den, unfortunately, right now. But
so you're saying Emerald
you're saying he died of heroin overdose?
No, I'm saying that Fall River's kind of gone to shit. But at one point, it was a huge fishing area, and a lot of the Portuguese came over and moved to Fall River.
With the pork chops.
Not the pork. I'm not a pork chop. I'm a Portuguese.
Well, only when it's convenient, Eric, for your narrative.
So I have a lot of family that still lives down there, right? And
like pork chops.
So family that was responsible for the decline of the place. Go on, continue.
Pork chops and applesauce.
Yeah, you see, just the straight nodding, just straight up, like who is responsible? The kin of Eric, the decline, the kin of Eric. Yes, Go on.
There's some of my family that participated.
A lot of your family did, yes.
So there's a huge Portuguese contingent in Fall River, Massachusetts, and New Bedford because they were fishing towns, and the Portuguese are huge on fishing. So when they came over here, they, that's one of the places they ended up. And unfortunately now, with the fishing industry complete trash, Kathy
has arrived.
She's telling you guys to watch it, not me.
It's okay. I intend to continue down the path we were at. So Eric was saying, Kathy, that your family is responsible for everything that's wrong in the state of Massachusetts. So honestly, I don't know what to tell you. I would have a discussion with young Eric.
Mm-hmm. Privately, of course.
So anyways, we have family there, and that is where the 40 wax took place, and it's where Emerald is from, and it's a huge drug city now, unfortunately, with a lot of issues.
Eric,
but America's the best country in the world, so I don't know.
And the mayor was arrested and thrown in jail.
Oh,
listen, it's too late, Eric, to try to add appeal to it.
Yes.
Like, honestly,
we're done.
It's too late for that.
I'm just trying to tell you how corrupt this whole freaking state is. And that's just another example. The mayor of Fall River got arrested and was put in jail.
Eric, as the patron saint,
don't worry about it.
Eric, as the patron saint of shadiness, honestly, this attempt at sucking up is not going to mean anything. Like, I appreciate the shadiness. I appreciate the corruption. Those are virtues. What about the rest of your bullshit? As far as I'm concerned, the corruption's the only good thing coming out of there. What else you got?
Mostly just corruption.
Yeah.
Wow. So the corruption is trying to carry your asses, and you guys are all letting us down.
The corruption starts with the hot dogs and pepper. So anyways.
And the politicians steal the money, and that's the corruption. So high taxes and corruption.
Well, who doesn't? Okay.
Well, I bet, Eric, if you had consumed more mayonnaise, you'd be fine.
No, I don't think one has to do with the other. No.
I do not have any independent verification that they're not related. Bobby, for the scientific method, we have a control group that clearly indicates Eric has existed his entire existence sans mayo, and he's complaining about corruption. He's complaining about problem this, problem that. As far as I'm aware, if he tried mayo, what if suddenly everything improved?
See, I think that's the thing when you're an influencer on YouTube and stuff like this. This can carry over into other things. So you're disinteresting people about mayo, even though you endorse it. I seen that big cans around the big jar of mayo. I don't know who did that, but anyways, I'm sure that's a major part of your thing that you do. You know, you're just into that and can't get away from it. Pictures don't lie.
I expect more from you. I'm disappointed.
In me?
Yeah.
What would you like?
Wow.
What would you like that would make you happy in me?
Eric is just never cannot be pleased. This guy, this ungrateful swine, it's just endless complaining.
In 8 minutes 32 seconds.
Yeah, so they got to get 3 quick goals.
Right now, based on the way that this has been going, I think if they were, it's still possible, of course. Like Edmonton can rack up some goals quickly.
You can get 2 quick
they are
ones,
capable.
and the last
they're
one
capable.
would be a tough goal.
They're capable.
Yeah.
But they are running the clock down to the last moment.
8 minutes is. If they would have gotten 1 in the beginning of the third, maybe. But now it's like 1, 2, 3. That's so tough. It's last minute Hail Mary. I don't see it, especially where we went through the whole game and the way they've been playing is just not working out.
That would have been the nail in the coffin. That was awesome.
Shut up.
Getting close.
The coffin's already there. They're going to wheel it out pretty soon, and they're going to open it up, and they'll find a Stanley Cup in there that is owned by Canada and Canadians.
Taking the cup out of the box.
Yeah.
The cup is getting polished.
Is my friend, who's there? Is it...
the regular guy, the blonde guy with the white gloves.
What's his name?
I forget off the top of my head. If I saw it and listed of 5 names, I'd pick his out right away.
Okay. All right. No problem. Is his name Phil?
Yeah.
And his last name is Kessel?
No, McCracken.
You may as well be right.
Okay.
Phil's a nice guy. He's a surfer dude who lives in Canada, which is totally unbelievable.
I hope he lives on the coast.
No, he lives in Toronto. So Phil's a nice guy. He actually runs the Hall of Fame for the most part. He's the main guy, and he does a lot of good stuff there. So he stays in the other part of the Hall of Fame. They have offices in the away from the Hall of Fame. They have this other Hall of Fame archives, and going into that is just amazing. That's where all the good stuff really is, or the different stuff that I like. So, anyways,
yeah, you've had a lot of accessibility.
They open the door. It's like security enter, and they say, "Bobby, you can just go." And you got the Stanley Cup there. You got every cup there. You got like everything. It's awesome, and it's kind of fun. You know, you're stuffing stuff in your. Oh, I mean,
yes!
No.
Empty netter.
Oh, they pulled the goalie?
They pulled the goalie with 7 minutes left.
They're fucking stupid.
Well, now it's 4-0 Florida, man. So
well, that's stupid. Why are they keep pulling the goalie beyond 4 minutes? Now it's 7 minutes. That's dumb.
They were trying desperately to get one goal. They were trying desperately to get one goal.
Desperation is stupidity. That is dumb. That is a dumb move. And okay, you deserve to lose, Edmonton. Fuck you all.
There you go. That's a clippable piece. Stu says.
No, they deserve to lose. You don't pull the goalie with 7 minutes left. Ever.
Look, Bobby, I am in agreement with you. I don't disagree with you on this. So Stu says, AI over Fall River, Massachusetts offers a mix of amenities, affordability, and historical charm, making it a potentially good place to live for some, while others may find its drawbacks. There you go, Stu. Thank you.
There's not a lot of...
That's open-ended.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it. The education level's really low.
I think that's where the drawback comes.
Well, look, you know what will make everybody feel better? Hold on. You know what will make everybody feel better in this circumstance? Here.
There it is.
See?
My favorite.
I feel better already.
It's all
I like that one.
It's all connected to the fishing industry going to shit. Those fishing towns like Gloucester, New Bedford, Fall River.
Is it not Gloucester or is it Gloucester?
Gloucester.
Eric, so the decline of the fishing industry is why you're hugging a jar of mayonnaise?
I guess.
Yes, it made me scared.
I see. Well, at least you got your comfort mayo jar.
Well, at least we had fun with the Stanley Cup, and we knew Edmonton was going to lose anyway. So, and I knew they were going to lose.
Well, why'd you pick them?
Because I was hoping that McDavid would get a cup and he'd be happy and shut up in the dressing rooms, but he won't.
Wow. No. Ham says, "We are the champions, my friends. Look at this man."
Yeah.
Ham, I better get some Ham. Seriously, no joke. Two things. Number one, I better get some good goddamn content for this. Secondly, Ham, offer. Would you like to come on the live stream as the Florida man, representative of the Florida Mans, on the cusp of a Stanley Cup? If you would like to, let me know, and I can shoot you a link.
Screw the Ham man.
No. Listen, we appreciate a good Ham Florida man.
We don't need any rubbing in of this. Actually, it's good that
Bobby, I have absolutely no love for Edmonton, so I'm sorry. The rubbing in is fine.
I don't have love for Edmonton.
like we're talking about Edmonton, so fuck that.
I have no love for either team, actually.
I'm fine with this, but look, I'm the Salt Lions.
We have to have a choice, and I'm choosing.
I just hope that Name is sitting on his couch right now, tears running down his face, mouth agape.
That's probably true.
Why?
Oh, they're all going to say that. It'll be.
What, he's Nancy Kerrigan? Like he's Nancy Kerrigan? Like that's what that would happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. Yeah.
There you go, Orlando. And to Ham, questionably so. So Orlando, I'll say, congrats. Orlando does have a Florida Panthers jersey in his background that I have seen in videos. That's legit. Ham, I feel like, is a whore for whatever team happens to be good that moment. He was also claiming the Tampa Bay one. So I'm not going to give him that one.
He lives in Florida, too.
I'm not going to give him that one. Whereas Orlando has had a Panthers jersey behind me before. We do have that noted. So I am more inclined to give it to Orlando.
Yep.
Plus his name is Orlando.
There you go.
So for those two reasons, Eric, I am more inclined to give it to him. I am more willing to give it to him based on those criteria.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Orlando says, no riots, just rats. Fair. Eric, you ready for the Rat Hoodie King? Let's go. Fire up the Spotify.
And this is why hockey does not interest me in today's world. So.
Yeah. Ham says,
he's going to be up here. I'm telling you, we're going to end up having a parade for him like Bork.
South Florida. Yep. Sounds good. Orlando says he's in South Florida. Fair enough. Yep, normally yes, but going to get ready for a champagne shower. I believe this. This.
Does anybody care? No.
Wow.
It doesn't matter anymore. When you win more than one cup in a row, it's just like, whatever. Who cares? The first cup, yes. Second cup, no.
Ham says, I like it when all Florida teams beat the rest of the two countries. Listen, Ham, you're going to be singing a different tune when Trump finds out that you're not part of the United States and he invades you, you're going to be sorry.
No, Trump likes people in Florida.
He does, yeah.
Florida's not part of America. He should invade Florida immediately.
Isn't it part
of Cuba? Bomb first, ask questions later.
Oh, man, my eyes are starting to burn.
Back-to-back cups, indeed. So we got just shy of 6 minutes left, technically, but 4-0 is, pretty well situated. There's still time to bomb Florida, though. Just saying. Throw it in there.
So last night, my prediction was Florida was going to win and win by a lot. And
so, define a lot. What's a lot?
4-0's a lot.
4-0 is a lot? Okay.
I said last night it wasn't going to be close.
Okay.
And so right now, unless some crazy things happen in the next 5 minutes, my prediction is looking pretty good.
Right now it's got an empty net again, so there is a chance to get another one. So we'll see.
Yep.
There you go. 5 Florida man. Hold on. We got some more commenters here, Eric. Here we go. So Orlando's back-to-back cups. That is correct. Amanda hit us. This must be what it feels like in Star Wars when they talk about balance being restored to the Force. # suck it Oilers. Man.
That's right.
I like it. The hashtag is what sells it for me. I appreciate it. Dom says America. Dom, it's Florida. It's not part of America. Come on now. Florida would ditch y'all in a second. Settle down. But it's adorable that you claim Florida. It's fun. I like the concept. We all know Florida is just northern Cuba. Just saying.
There's a large Cuban population there.
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, Ham should get out of there because honestly, it's just northern Cuba, and I don't think Ham hablos español. I don't believe him. I'm just saying. Just saying. I got questions. Ham is trying to ingratiate himself with the Cuban locals. We'll see how long they believe his lies.
Oh, there goes the shutout.
Ah, shame. It was a good shot, actually.
Oh, well.
Bobrovsky played well, though. Like, he's actually done very well.
Oh, God, yeah.
And overall, like, Edmonton has had their share of, like, good chances. This wasn't the only one. Like, they've had a ton of good chances. The fact he's kept most of it out has actually been very impressive.
Oh, yeah. No, he's
Ton of Canadians. I'm half Cuban and Spanish. How convenient, Ham. How convenient. He finds the heritage just in time, Eric. Just before he's about to be deported. Kathy said, got one?
Yeah, we don't root for Edmonton, mother. We don't want them to get one.
Where's Big David? Is he on IR? Man, listen. A man has been quiet all night, and all of a sudden, late in the game, Eric, with the shade.
Well, she
with the shade from California.
She feels like she can breathe now and talk smack.
Yeah, I was gonna say, jeez. There you go.
No, she hates Edmonton, hates them because they keep knocking out LA.
Well, look, understandable. Eric, did I not begin game 1 being the salt factory?
Yes.
I am the salt factory. So listen, I have no love. Sorry, Edmonton. It ain't happening on my watch. Not on my watch. Hates. Indeed. Understandable. Amanda, you want to come on here and gloat? You let me know. We'll do a little bit and then we'll take off for the evening. I got an early start tomorrow, but we can do a couple of minutes if anybody wants to gloat and have a little bit of fun with it, since we're tailing off towards the end of the episode and towards the end of the game here. Still got 3:30 left on my clock here, so we're approaching the tail end. But I like Naaman Paul very much. Don't make excuses, Amanda. Let the hate flow through you. It is the way of the Sith. Accept it into your life. Accept it into your soul.
I hope Name is just crying his little soul out. Hope he's just devastated. I've been a fan for Edmonton since day one. Brr, 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 brr. Suck it.
Joke's on you, Eric. Name was a fan of the Florida Mans since day one. Wrinkle Wax says, I blame Regine Lemon for this. Facts. Facts. If only it had so much as a second image in his entire hockey career, this horrible fate could have been avoided.
Yeah. Sad.
Yep. Hey, my President's Choice tag arrived at Ship My Cards.
Oh,
good times. Exciting. Good job, Brian Price. Good job. All right, we're 2:13 left in the game.
They might pull the goalie again. Fucking idiots.
Maybe.
Who pulls the goalie at 7 minutes? Come on. That was stupid.
I know the answer to that question.
Dom says, has Eric ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
The Wise?
The fact that I know what that is disturbs me.
Dom is situated in the Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
So he is speaking your language. He's speaking your language.
Mm-hmm.
Korean here says, this is Dom, right here. He is based in the Bostonians area. Korean says, I'm going to do it. I'm going to open sealed cases of Burley to put in my Z-folios. Don't want cards elsewhere. Go for it, man. Do what you got to do.
Don't pull McDavid. Please don't pull McDavid. Please.
I believe in you. Do what you got to do.
So does McDavid's cards go up or down?
Down marginally. Like the whole up thing only works if they win. And in reality, like the boost is temporary anyway. So we were talking about this a little earlier in the series, and the thought process was if they had won, what it does is it raises the floor going forward.
That's it.
But the it would have been a temporary boost.
Fell out on this one though. But anyways,
no, the floor isn't going anywhere. The floor is where it is. The floor is his floor is not based on the playoffs. His floor is based on all the regular season numbers and everything he's actually done.
Yeah,
he's won a Conn Smythe.
But he needs a Stanley Cup. He really
does. But what that'll do is that'll raise his floor. That'll raise his floor. Yeah, because what happens is always, even if he had won, it would have done a little boost for a little while and then settled back down a little bit, but it would have been higher than before.
Higher than before, sure.
Yeah, so that's why I say the floor will go up a little bit. People are hoping
will down a little bit, maybe.
No, not really. Because in reality, like nothing that happened here, it's not like he played horrifically. So it's the reality is they lost to a team that literally won back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they were in the Stanley Cup Finals consecutive seasons. So it's as good as you can do without winning.
Two-time loser, yes, but yeah.
Yeah. So like if you're going to lose to somebody who's good. So
the Rats,
that's the best you can hope for.
Away from the reigning of Rats.
Does he stay in Edmonton and wins a cup? That's the part, Amanda, that will be come into question. That is the piece that will come into question. So we're 30 seconds.
From Rat Rain.
30 seconds. They can still come back. That's the hope of Edmonton.
10.
Come back. Oh, I've seen it all. I'm gonna have to watch Facebook when I go.
Here come the Rats.
Ham says Dynasty. Well, we'll see. 3 appearances and 2 out of 3.
I think there'll be a big shakeup this year, like you were saying, Carlos. I think a lot of players are going to be leaving, and other teams are going to be building, and we'll see what happens. I know the Leafs are out of contention for the next 5 years, so I don't know who's really going to come in and stand up, but it'll be interesting the next 4 or 5 months. See what goes on behind the doors. Trade.
All right, so right now, I don't have to interrupt. I'm sorry. Right now, Bobby and I are tied.
Yep.
If Bobrovsky wins the Conn Smythe, I win. Which I don't think he's going to.
What do you win?
So I think this is going to end up as a tie.
All right, we'll take a tie.
But if Bobrovsky wins the Conn Smythe, I win.
He actually should.
No,
I would think he'd certainly be a candidate for sure.
Yeah, he's top candidate. I believe he is.
Korean says, I remember Burley had an issue with Toronto when he was there regarding not allowing pit bulls. But he's still prohibited in Toronto, as far as I'm aware. Yeah. I had to look just to double check. I know what you were talking about, but I had to look into it. I'm not a dog guy, so I don't really care. But as far as I'm aware, there was an issue where there were a bunch of pit bull attacks. And as a result of that, they prohibited them in Toronto. But
yeah.
There was another one down here over the last couple of weeks where a dog killed some kids.
Really?
Yeah. It was a pit bull killed some kids.
Yeah, they can be a breed under the right circumstances. You have to be careful with it a little bit. I might go console Draisaitl though. Oh, look at you, Amanda. All heart. All heart.
Oh yeah.
Much like your philanthropy towards Medano. I understand. I get it.
Peacock's a big game behind the scenes.
I already directly messaged her. I said, hey, do you want to gloat at all during
No,
this?
she never wants to come out yet.
This is like a beautiful moment for some gloating schadenfreude. Like, this is a schadenfreude moment if ever there was one. Eric, you know how I feel about the schadenfreude.
You do like the schadenfreude.
You got to take the schadenfreude when it's given to you on a silver platter. You got to take it. It's always there.
Is this over yet? Please tell me it's over.
Well, the game's over. Yes. Now we're waiting for the official result on the Conn Smythe, and that's kind of the last little tiebreaker thing that we were talking about.
Yeah.
That's what we're basically waiting on.
I would have expected more rats. I'm a little disappointed with the amount of rats on the ice. I wanted to see the entire ice just covered black.
In oil?
No, in rats.
Oh, rats. Okay.
And there's not nearly as many as I thought there would be.
It's okay.
And there's the king rat.
Will this affect the card market in any way going forward?
I think given the outcome,
they can catch up.
No, we were actually talking about this. I think given that Florida won, I don't think anybody actually gets any real change.
No.
Bobrovsky is now a 2-time Stanley Cup winner, which is good for him. But I don't think it does anything for him necessarily. Marchand doesn't really do anything for him. Barely. It would be so negligible as to be you won't notice it.
No.
Marchand, not really. No. Like, he's pretty much what he is. One more cup is not bad. It's a good thing. Like,
but it doesn't do anything. Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for him specifically. Yeah.
No.
If McDavid had won, his stuff would have gone up.
I think the upside was bigger for like the McDavids or the Dreisaitl's, those guys that hadn't won previously. I think it's more beneficial to those guys.
Yeah.
The bunch of the Florida guys, most of them already have a cup ring now.
Right.
So winning a second is not bad. It's a good thing. It doesn't hurt. But I don't think it does anything special for those guys. I think it's just is what it is. They're just congrats. So you get another one. So kind of to Ham's question, like dynasty. No, I don't consider 2 cups a dynasty because didn't Tampa win 3? There's like a little run there. Did they win 2 or 3 in that little brief run?
I'm sure.
Was 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they kind of have to match that. Again, I'm grading on a curve. The old school dynasty, the answer would have still been no. But in the today with the turnover and rosters, but the problem is, Bobby, in the today with the turnover rosters and such, if you can win 3, like 2 in a row, and win a third one within another year or 2, I think that's legit.
I don't even think you can call it a dynasty at that point. You have to call it a good run.
But the thing is, we have to grade on a curve, though. Like, that's to me, for myself, nothing in the original 6 is a dynasty because there were 6 teams. You had a 1 in 6 chance of winning every single year.
Basically.
So honestly, I don't give a shit how many you won in a row with 6 teams. You won nothing.
Yep.
When you've got 30 plus teams, if you can win 2 in a row or 3 within a very short window, that's impressive. Yeah, that's harder.
But I still wouldn't call it a dynasty. No.
I think in the current era, that's as close as you're going to get. Nobody else is going to get by the old definition of dynasty. You're not going to get.
Yes, but I think it's something else. It's like, I don't know what you can call it. Something different though. Dynasty is a huge word. It doesn't really apply today.
The problem is in hockey that we don't have many dynasties.
That would be a dynasty. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Then in hockey, nobody has a dynasty except the Montreal Canadiens.
Well,
hey.
That's literally it. Like, that's the only one.
No.
Like, we run out of options. We don't have many. Like, the Islanders won 4 in a row, but like, it's very rare. Like, it's not normal. Back to back is nice. It has happened, but it's not common.
3 in a row.
Even back to back is difficult.
4 in a row is 4 in a row is big.
Yeah, 4 in a row is exceptional. So it's it's very difficult.
That would be dynasty, I would say, if you were going to call it that. But otherwise, you can't call it dynasty. I think that's too big of a word for what it's worth. If you did that in 10 years, yeah. 4 plus, yes, for sure.
Tom says, Eric is a spokesman for Beckett and BP Oilman is a PR nightmare.
Yes.
3 and 5 years has always been a dynasty.
I would say, yeah.
I think you're right on that line. I think 3 and 5 years I would consider legitimate. I'm okay with that.
I don't know if it's
because you put a gap in there.
It's something though.
Now, yes, they cheated and team full of scumbags and everything, but the Patriots winning 6 kind of changed that. over a period of time, 6 championships over a long period of time. People might be looking at dynasties a little different. I mean, Jordan's dynasty 3-3. I mean, that's probably the best one, right? Modern day.
I guess.
Just trying to think here.
Maybe
So
another word for that maybe should be used.
Bobby, though, like where are we getting this idea that a dynasty is something else? Like, what is a dynasty then?
Well, I think terms change as things go on, as the league progresses.
But the thing is, with the whole thing with the dynasty,
14, 16, 18, 22, 21 teams, all through the 80s, like, okay, dynasty, kind of offsets in when you get to 30 teams and you won 2 or 3 Stanley Cups. That's fine. It is difficult, but is it a dynasty? I question that. If you actually Google dynasty and look at the synonyms, I don't think it really represents what a 3 in a row. Yes, but you'd have to get 3 to 4 in a row to really be called a dynasty.
Won 5 cups in the 80s.
Yes.
The Islanders won 4.
That's a dynasty because it's 5 out of 10.
Cups.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Won 4 cups. That
they did. Yeah, that was close. Yes. But 3 doesn't make it. 3 doesn't make a dynasty. I don't think so. That's in just my personal, thought pattern. So
I just think with
dynasty is a huge word.
Yeah,
that's big.
I think with Edmonton winning 5 over a spread out period, Jordan winning 6, New England Patriots winning 6. I think the standards have been elevated, whether that be fair or not.
And who really cares anyways?
Well, I actually think the opposite. I actually think the standards have been lowered. The reality is that most sports,
because
they have to be though, because given the current state of the way it works, you can't keep a team together long enough. Free agency and that breaks it up anyway. You're not going to be able to, whether you want to or not.
Phil just brought out the Conn Smythe and put it on the table.
That's what I'm waiting on. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for now.
Who's waiting to hear who's going to get it? I know it's not going to be McDavid this year.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
no.
That's the last piece of the puzzle we're waiting on here.
It might be Marchand.
I win.
And they call it?
Not yet.
No, we're waiting. Like they milk this, Bobby. They're milking the hell out of it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think
they want to keep you tuned in as long as possible.
Dipshit's talking now.
Oh.
Go ahead, dipshit.
I don't like dipshit.
Nobody likes dipshit.
Yet he stays there.
He's been there for a long time.
Yep. Look, Gary Bettman's the only person that Eric respects more than Geoff Wilson. And that's heady praise.
I guess it would be.
Listen, Geoff is a goat per Eric, so Gary Bettman is like a double goat, triple goat.
Goat squared. I'm actually glad that the volume's down, so I don't have to listen to him.
Thank God.
Oh, I've literally had the commentary off the entire time. I just watched the game. Like to me, it's like I don't need your commentary. I'll just watch.
Right.
It's fine.
Bobby, we're tied. Sam Bennett is the
Bennett. Okay.
So Bobby and I tied. Congratulations.
All right.
It was a good run. Congratulations.
You should Bobby just come. You just gone with it.
Who cares?
So what else is? So like I said, next year we're going to establish a trophy. We're going to establish
that dollar store trophy somewhere.
Listen, we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna have you of some kind. We'll figure something out. I've got some time to think about it. So next, Eric, these are big. Your tie is all lovely, but next year we're gonna have an actual trophy. We're gonna have some stakes. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna make it interesting. So that means that next year we're gonna establish all the ground rules. Anybody who wants to be in the running has to be in right from round 1. Got to get all your picks in early, and we're gonna count all the picks all the way through the end, and then the winner shall be the inaugural BIC NHL Stanley Cup playoffs champion. So right now you're currently in the Silver 7 era. You're in the Challenge Cup era right now. Yeah.
Okay.
But starting next year, we establish the cup.
We're down to 0 again, and we start again. Yeah.
We're establishing the cup.
Maybe
Eric,
the
we're
Leafs
moving
will
on.
win.
We're going from the challenge era. We're getting the cup, and we're going to award a winner next year.
All right.
We may as well.
Yep.
All right, guys. Have a good night. I'm out.
Take it easy, Bobby.
Have a good evening. We'll see you Friday. A couple days.
Yep.
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 No,
Back with the regular Friday live stream.
Okay.
So they're awarding the Stanley Cup. We'll chat with you guys a couple of minutes, and then we'll call it a night. Domir says, Sam Bennett cars to the moon. I don't think it's going to have too much of a boost. It doesn't hurt, but I don't think it's going to be much of a boost. That's what I was saying. The Florida win doesn't mean anything for the Florida guys. None of them are really going to get that much of a boost out of it, but it doesn't hurt. Like for some of these guys, it solidifies their resume. It adds another piece to the puzzle for them. There's a couple of these guys that are going to get paid. It's going to be good for them. They're going to get some serious cash out of this. But yeah, back-to-back champions, a big deal either way. And then like 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals appearances, back-to-back wins.
Who beat them the first year? I'm trying to remember.
I want to say it was Vegas, maybe.
Yeah,
Let me double check.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like Vegas feels right to me, but let me double check.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'll double check just to make sure I get the right answer on that, but we'll double check.
My memory is not what it used to be.
I used to actually be really good with the World Series. I used to be able to go to the World Series back to the 20s, but I have long since lost a lot of that ability. Like any good trivia, you lose sight of it when you don't exercise it enough. All right. Yeah, so it was the Vegas Golden Knights with Bruce Cassidy as coach.
Yep.
Beating the Florida Panthers. So they defeated Florida Man, and then 2 straight years with Florida Man. And good old Wikipedia is already updated. They already got the Florida Panthers as champions on here. They're quick, man. All right. They're fast, these guys. Jeez, sitting there waiting for Florida Man. Good Lord. All right. How quickly does Marchand get the cup there? What do you think, Eric?
I don't think this is a Sakic to Bork situation.
No, not necessarily, but I'm curious though. Obviously, you got the folks that were there for last year's run and all that. This isn't their first run with it, but I'm curious.
I don't know, I'd say he gets it 4th.
4th, all right.
Yeah, I think that it's the alternate captains will probably get it next, and maybe he'll get it 4th. No, alternate captain didn't get it. Who's 18? No, that's not even 18. I can't tell who it is.
Looks like it's 88.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
I want to say it's Schmidt. Who the hell's Schmidt?
There you go. So I guess Mr. Schmidt. I'm sure they're explaining it. That why he's getting it. No,
Eric, it would make me so happy if Schmidt was just like some rando.
Yeah.
I'm like, Eric, I don't remember Schmidt in this series. Like, I'm sure he was in the lineup, but I don't remember him.
He played 3 minutes the entire playoffs.
He was, Schmitty.
He served a too many men on the ice penalty. Had to skate across.
Hey, somebody had to serve a too many minute on the ice penalty. Damn it! Come on, Eric, show some love.
All right, so now you got Jones. Now I think this is Popeye Jones's kid, right?
I genuinely have no idea.
Yeah, this
honestly,
I believe this is former NBA star player from the 80s, Popeye Jones's son.
Popeye Jones played past the 80s, Eric. He was playing on the Raptors, who were not in the 80s, I assure you.
I could have sworn he played in the late 80s.
Maybe, but he was still playing when the Raptors were around. So
I don't listen, ma'am. I already told you I don't remember shit no more. Too many concussions, plus age.
The question is, was George Washington president at the time? Is what I need to know.
I believe at the time he may have been.
Okay, so I don't know who this is right now with just looking at him, but that playoff beer is pathetic. You may as well just been clean shaven. What's the point?
Put some milk on your face. Have the cat lick it off.
Like, Eric, if you can't go a playoff beer, like, respect, I get it. Like, but why bother? Like, you just look a fool.
These
like, honestly,
maybe these are all the guys that weren't on the team last year. Maybe I don't know.
I guess so. I don't know. Like here, perfect example. Yeah, they're going with like, hey guys, here you go. Yeah, like Bobrovsky is the goaltender in net, but instead we got Vanacek or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just going with randos. So yeah, Marchand will be there. We'll get it. We'll get the cup sometime tomorrow. Nonetheless, I will say this, Eric. The party in Florida will possibly go on for days.
They still talk about the party that the Bruins had and the bar bill, which was hundreds of
That's because
thousands.
they're still paying off the bar bill. It's part of your national debt.
Yeah, I mean, you could look it up. The bar bill, they went to, I think, Mohegan Sun. They went to one of the casinos in Connecticut, and the party was legendary, and the bar bill was astronomical. Like, I don't know, $1 million maybe. I don't. It was crazy.
Wow, that's like half of your like button rate.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty impressive.
It was absolutely. It was just insane. It's still talked about.
Boovist? Who the fuck is Boovist? Look, I acknowledge that I'm not up on the rosters of these teams in any depth, so I'm sorry, but I don't know who Boovist is. Who's Boovist?
Probably some Swede.
Are we sure they're not just randomly finding people slapping a jersey on and going, carry the Stanley Cup, skate around? I'm confused. I'm amused and also confused. I don't know, Eric. I got to be honest. If I never played really hockey when I was a kid, outside of the odd street ball games here and there. But if I was a professional hockey player, if we got to this point, maybe it's just a me thing more than anything else. At this point, if I was like somebody who was like, okay, you're gonna get the cup 20th, I'd already be skating back to the locker room to have a beer. I'd be like, I'm not sticking around for this. We're good. I'll get my time at the cup later. Don't worry about it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. The Balinskis?
The Balinskis.
Wow. Well, why do you say so? Wild. I don't know, Eric. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel over here. What's going on? I don't know what's happening. Anyway, all right. Let me kind of show this here since I was talking about it a little earlier. Now this is as good an opportunity as any. I think I can share this. Let me do that. I got the situation figured out with Chrome. Here's the new edition.
Not the best picture I've seen of him, but the tag is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was basically the draw for me. Was really they commissioned some art and they did it, which is fine. Yeah. I don't mind that, but I like that it's got a full tag piece on there. It's got the whole thing, including the information, the little flag, and the number and everything. I think it's kind of a neat piece. I just like the fact that they do stuff like that because obviously you're only going to get that with small batch President's Choice stuff that they do on there. But it's cool. It's there. I like it. Great looking card. Thank you, Philly Joe. Appreciate you.
Third string goalie is now hoisting the cup.
Oh my God. I stopped the coverage because at this point I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see some randos hoist the cup. I get the idea.
Yep. Third string goalie. He's like, who do I give this to now?
It's a valid question. I'm not going to blame him for it.
All right.
I don't hate it.
All right. I think this is Bob here.
So as we start to wind down, thank you everybody for participating. Thank you for everybody hanging out and joining. Like I said, these are just watch alongs. We're just kind of hanging out. We're BSing, talking hobby, talking anything else, making fun of Eric, all the usual stuff. And then we're watching the game. And obviously now the Stanley Cup Final is over. The McDavid denied.
All right. The Rats got it. Rat Kings got it. And this is the first time the whole team is like celebrating him, and they're throwing rats at him.
They should. They may as well. They got lots of them. So now, Eric, now that the Rat King is once again the king.
Yep.
So now, I don't know. I might have to send you the retro the techno remix of the Rat Who Would Be King, because honestly, like I said, it's a 7-minute song. It's very slow tempo. It might not be upbeat enough for this to work. I got a kick out of it nonetheless. I listened to it again. I was like, oh yeah, I remember it. It's a good song, I'll say, but it's not a very up tempo thing. But yes. So thank you, like I said, everybody, for joining in. I appreciate you. Make sure to hit the like button. Eric pays for it.
No.
Super important.
This isn't a real, broadcast. So no, Monday and Friday.
Eric, the banner is disagreeing with you. And the tiebreaker is the banner. The banner is the source of truth. Can we really trust your heathenist words? I don't think we can.
I just want to point out, I went from 2 years ago where I pulled an over, tied for the win this year.
This is a big moment for you. This is this is a redemption comeback story for you.
I got a bunch last year too, but the one from 2 years ago when I just overed the entire playoffs, that was just horrible.
I will say though, the reality is that Bobby made it possible because he refused to just play strategery.
Yeah, right.
All he had to do is just agree with your pick, and he would have won by default. That would have been it. Like there was nothing you could do mathematically to beat him.
Right.
He had his option. All he had to do was use a little basic strategery. I expect, Eric, I assure you that with a trophy on the line next year, there will be the strategery. If this situation comes up again, if somebody doesn't use strategery, we're going to throw rotten produce at them. You fool. What have you done? Take the win. Especially if it's default. You got to take the win. But anyway. So, more videos coming up on the channel. I've got a couple of ideas. Maybe something I can do. I got to see what the work situation looks like. I'm going to have a little bit of a busy mid-end of week. But we will be back on Friday regardless, where we will continue. The longest running episodic, whatever it is, we don't know.
No, we don't know what the hell this is. This is nonsense.
Yeah. I will probably have to switch over to the Stella, though, Eric. While I am enjoying my Double Tempest, my special seasonal beer, I only have so many, so I can't be using them all before we get to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on mine too and make sure I don't run out.
Listen, you're going pretty heavy on that Pepsi, on the Diet Pepsi. It's is that Pepsi Zero or Diet Pepsi though?
Yeah, that's the zero sugar. Yeah,
that's the zero. Yeah, the zero is better than the Diet. The Diet's crap.
Yeah,
but nonetheless. Yeah, but nonetheless, we will be back with the longest running episodic, whatever it is. We'll figure it out. If you could, on your way out, if you could hit the like button, we'd appreciate it. Otherwise, if you check this out on replay, I'm not sure what you're going to get out of it. Bless you. Appreciate you. Feel free to watch it at 1/4 speed. Maybe it'll make it better.
Don't watch it.
Oh, watch it 1/4 speed.
Don't watch
Be amazing.
Don't
be the
watch
greatest.
No.
You can watch all of Eric's facial expressions. It tells a tale.
You can find something better to do with your life. Don't watch this crap.
I disagree. I think you should watch it in 1/4 speed. I think you should watch it 1/4 speed with the sound muted.
Ugh, God.
And really just get the fully immerse yourself in the experience. Is what I think you should do.
Now, here we go. T'Chuk is finally handed the cup.
Yep. Now, I will say though, to conclude on a card related item, good luck to McDavid #investors because another year denied. That's gonna be a tough one. I don't know what you're going to do now. It's tough to come back to the Stanley Cup a third consecutive year. Florida's managed, but they did win 2 out of 3. So it is tough to come back and try to win a third one after failing the first 2 times. Good luck to Edmonton, I suppose. Nonetheless, we managed. All right. So for the Barrel Garage of Knowledge, for Eric and his scandalousness, as we discussed earlier tonight, congratulations to Orlando Ham, sort of, even though he's kind of a wishy-washy Florida whore who just slides back and forth between 2 teams. Do we really count Ham though? Like, does he count?
I try not to count Ham in anything.
Yeah.
I
think Ham's Florida infidelity invalidates him. I'm willing to give it to Orlando. Orlando, I will give him the congratulations. Ham, I'm like, I'm a little iffy on that one. Because if it had been Tampa Bay, he'd have claimed the same thing. I'm not okay with that. It's not fine. It's not okay. Yeah. So we'll leave it at that. Was that?
Ham bad.
Mm-hmm. Regardless, nonetheless, for the other folks, good luck. Florida Man has been victorious, won the Stanley Cup. Congrats to them. Otherwise, back to the drawing board for the Edmontonians and the oil people. That's it. That's it for us tonight. Have a good one. We'll catch you in the next one.
See you Friday.